Yes, we are live for Footy from the Flat, live from the True Footy YouTube channel. Massive game tonight between the West Coast Eagles and the Richmond Tigers. A bit of a flashback to that spoon bowl that we had earlier in the season, although there's not a lot of jeopardy in this one, Jesse, coming in for the West Coast Eagles. Can you don't think you guys can get off the bottom, surely?
No, I don't. It would be extremely unlikely, but there's still some meaning to this game. One thing I'm surprised about is that West Coast seem to be widely backed to win this game.
I know.
I did tip West Coast, so I do see the logic, but I'm surprised at how universally people are saying, yeah, West Coast should win this, including from a lot of Richmond fans. That has surprised me.
I think it's the fact that they have such a young team, taking them all the way over to Perth. You just sort of feel like they are going to kind of struggle with the slog of it all over there, where you guys just have that sort of, I guess, like to play at your own home ground, you just have that little bit more maturity. Some older players back in too.
That's true. You're right. There are a couple of big ins, if you call it that. Although, I think the recent history would show our performances at Optus have been our worst, and we've been better on the road. So, I don't know. I have tipped West Coast mostly because I sense that this will be their last opportunity for a win this year, and we just might want it a bit more than Richmond. But outside of that, it's hard to really make a case that West Coast deserve to be $1.70 favourites to $2.10, I think it is.
Given how I don't want to say they've been great this season, but they probably have exceeded expectation. I think most people coming into the season would have clearly had them as the bottom team. I think a lot of people said that they wouldn't win a game, so they've exceeded that. The gap, I said, 12 points. Do you think there's any chance with your run home, with a couple of games at home, that you could bridge that? I think percentage is similar. So if you won tonight, which is very winnable, then it'd be 2 more wins. You wouldn't think they'd win another game.
No, I'm struggling to remember who we have off the top of my head, but we do have the Derby next week. So, we did it last year. Who knows? I really doubt it. But even if you say that one's winnable, hypothetically, then I think there's a game against the Crows. There's a game against the Demons at Marvel. Who knows? I just want to focus on tonight.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have said it's a real possibility.
The thing is, for me, with why I bring that up, it's probably not going to happen just because of the gap's too big. But it doesn't feel like you guys have been as bad as what your record shows this season. Like a 1-win, you're better than a 1-win team. It feels, and that's without having watched your games intimately. But how do you think you've gone this season? Obviously, up against expectation, it would be subpar. But do you think you're actually playing that badly?
Yeah, I appreciate that acknowledgement because I don't think that's something you'll hear broadly in the media. I would agree. I think generally, and the last time we covered a West Coast game on this live stream was against North Melbourne, and it was sort of the start of West Coast starting to improve a little bit in terms of the way they play.
You should have won that game.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately we didn't. We weren't good enough to. But the Eagles are playing better as a team than they have probably in the last 4 years. It's just our baseline performances are a lot better, but the worst performances still probably don't measure up to some of the worst ones we've seen in previous years, and we're not quite good enough to have any big surprising wins either. So I would agree 1-17 or whatever we are now doesn't really tell the tale of the year. In some ways there's been growth from last year, but we haven't played as well as we did in any of the 5 games that we won last year.
What is the biggest issue then? That's kind of like this season that you think that's holding you back? Like maybe have other teams sort of, I don't know, not that there was many teams to go past you, but have teams sort of gone past you tactically and you're sort of struggling with a new coach, those sorts of things? Or is it older players?
I actually think tactically McQualter's doing a great job of finding a game style that sort of brings teams down to our level to a little bit, and hopefully we can develop that as we have better players. I think West Coast, for a start, are much younger than they were last year. I was watching each week on the Truth Eagle Instagram, I've started making highlights clips of the last time we beat someone. And then I made one for Fremantle for next week today, and I did Richmond last night. And you just see in the highlights clips, you see Jake Waterman, Elliot Yeo, Harley Reid, probably a little bit fitter than he is now. I mean, maybe not Jack Darling, but he's just another senior player that we had last year. I think we don't have the experience and the maturity and the fitness probably as a young group. We're also, if you want to point at any particular part of the ground, you'd have to decide between a few. Stoppage and clearance, we were terrible against Port Adelaide, worst team in the comp for that. And the scores we're kicking as well. I think whether we play well or badly, West Coast is scoring between 50 and 65 most of the last 6 weeks. So, a few things to work on, but the effort throughout 4 quarters, and the game style is evident, I think.
For me, like obviously the clearance part, you go and have a look at your numbers and it looks pretty bad on paper. It's sort of strange a little bit that when you go through the players that are actually in there, definitely they are young, which is a part of why they can't stay in the games consistently. But the actual mids in there to me look reasonably high quality. And are players that can actually win a stoppage in there. Is it coming from, do you think it's coming from the mids and the lack of quality in the mids, or do you think it's coming more from the ruck position that you just can't sort of put your stamp on it from that source? And then you sort of got to shark taps and go off the opposition's ruck a lot.
Yeah, it's a great question, because the ruck situation for West Coast has been poor. I mean, it's probably better than it has been over the last couple right now, and it's still terrible. I think that it's hard to say because we've seen premiership teams with a great midfield do just fine without all-star ruckman. I think of our last premiership team, Nick Nat did his ACL when we won a premiership with Lysett and Vardy.
Right. I actually forgot about that. He missed that grand final. Yeah,
exactly. So the mid stepped up in that case. So for me, the priority is fixing the midfield. That's where we should allocate our resources. But, certainly...
Including the ruck position?
I was mostly focusing on midfielders. So, like, if you tied it into a draft conversation, my desire is to go midfield over ruck if at the pointy end, which, we can talk about now or later. But there's a top ruckman in this year's draft pool, and it will be an interesting decision for West Coast.
100%. Do you think, though, this is one that's been going back and forwards in my head with West Coast, like whether they go for the draft with a ruck or whether they try to look to free agency? Do you sort of see anyone, like, I'll throw a couple of names that I wrote down earlier here just for players in free agency. Where is it on my list here? Okay, so, potential players that you could go after in the ruck line: Jordan Sweet, Ivan Soldo. They sort of haven't been able to nail their place down. Jordan Sweet's in the Port team at the moment, but he's far from sort of consolidated that. Ned Reeves, Nick Madden at the Giants, who's sitting behind Briggs but looks like a pretty talented player. Ned Moyle, Taylor Goad, and even Riley O'Brien. Darcy Cameron sort of could be up on the market. You wouldn't have thought Cameron would want to come to a club like West Coast at this point, just given where they're at. But would you see any of those as an upgrade on what you've got?
Yes. I must admit I don't know too much about someone like a Nick Madden. But a Ned Moyle, for instance, is, I think, probably one of the better he's not state league, but he's, playing VFL a lot.
He dominates at that level.
Exactly. One of the best, of his type in the league. So yes, absolutely. I would jump at that opportunity. On Cameron, there's been so much mixed reports around what he wants to do. There has been reports that he is dead keen to get back to Perth, and in which case he wouldn't be at Fremantle, it would be at West Coast. And then a week later, you see an article saying Darcy Cameron would never leave Collingwood. I just don't know what to make of it. But, that one and say like a Riley O'Brien absolutely walk into the team, obviously. But then you just consider Darcy Cameron would probably cost a decent pick for where we're at. Don't know if that makes sense. And Riley O'Brien as a free agent would be great, but then it would dilute Oscar Allen compensation hypothetically. So, another ruck, say like a Ned Moyle, I mean, that would be a dream come true.
I feel like he would be the pick.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
And you and I were talking about it the other week. I did a video on it this week even around the potential that you could like do a bit of a trade with Gold Coast. They could sort of get ahead of that pick, throw a few picks back at you the other way. Maybe Ned Moyle could even be like wound up into that trade, which would sort of, I feel like if you could do something like that, and it would put you a little bit ahead, because obviously if you draft a ruckman, they're just so far away from actually being ready. If you take like a Cooper Duff-Tytler in the draft, it's not like he's going to walk into that team and just be a dominant ruckman, right? Like he's going to need a little bit of time. So
absolutely. If we get Ned Moyle wrapped up in that deal, I would be very happy.
That'd be crazy if it didn't cost you too much of a high draft pick as well, and then you could sort of bring in those mids as well. It's going to be a big year though for you guys. A massive year coming into, like, the trade period's going to be massive. The draft's going to be big as well.
Yeah. I liked your video. If anyone hasn't seen it, on the Dylan Alexander YouTube channel, it's called The Trade That Could Blow Up the AFL Draft or something like that. Something to that effect.
Sounds about right. Yeah. Something like that. It's a little bit dramatic.
Yeah, no, it's great. That's titles. That's show business, baby. Great video. And, hypothetically, if West Coast can manufacture a draft hand like Richmond's last year, I understand that it's not as strong a draft, but obviously I think that's what West Coast is crying out for. Maybe, sling a pick to Melbourne for Judd McVie would also round out a trade period very nicely, hypothetically. But it's going to be a big off season.
I absolutely love Judd McVie. I reckon that'd be a huge pick for West Coast. Now, we've got about 10 minutes until the game starts, so a little bit of water to go under the bridge there. We've got the Carlton and Melbourne game on at the moment. That's about level. Top performers for West Coast for this season. Now, I haven't watched every game. I've watched bits and pieces of West Coast play as much as I possibly can. Who would you put as your top 5 performers this season? Just who's been your... Not sort of like for the future or anything like that, just who's been your best.
Yeah, like almost like a best and fairest.
Yeah, exactly.
I think there is only one answer for who has been the best player. And
really?
He should smash the best and fairest this year is Liam Baker.
Yes.
I think in terms of consistency and like top level performance, he's probably been our best on ground in half of our games, if I had to guess. And then his baseline performance, I reckon he's had one quiet game. So you got Baker in there. It's hard to do it in order, but another one I think will be in that top 5 will be Jinby. Again, consistency, played most games. I know that's not quite what you asked me. You didn't ask me for a prediction. You just said top 5 best players.
No, but that's okay.
Yeah. I would still put Jinby
So let's go Baker 1, Jinby 2.
Yeah.
For the sake of it.
Subject to change, but yes. Hoff probably makes it. Again, a little bit inconsistent, but I imagine he's going to be, I'd say he's in our top 5 players this year. Oh, it's getting tough after that. Harley Reid is in the top 5 as well. I don't know how to compare him to someone like a Hoff who has played some great games. I'd probably have Harley over Hoff, to be honest.
Just for output,
pure
output?
Maybe. I'd need to do a more detailed analysis on that one because Hoff's had some quiet games too. Maybe Hoff, actually.
I feel Harley's, how he's judged is so different. Like it's so much based on what he did last year. That it's almost unfair to the point where you know what I'm saying. But
absolutely, yeah. He had Elliot Yeo playing really good footy last year, and Tim Kelly playing better football than this year.
Yeah,
for a start.
The expectation on a player like Brady Hoff is just so much lower. So when you get that output, you're like, thanks, man.
True. Yeah.
Whereas Harley Reid, it's like, come on. Yeah. We need you to carry the team. So
Harley's making the top 5. Picking the 5th one it's tough. Honestly, like best and fairest prediction, Liam Duggan's going to be there. I'm telling you. He's not going to be in my top 5. I reckon you could make the case for someone
in the top 5.
The way the best and fairest work is, they reward players who play every game like Duggan has, but Duggan also gets 20-odd possessions a lot. I reckon he will get votes. But having said that, he's not in my top 5 performance this year.
Oh, man.
You probably... See, the thing is with West Coast, while we said that, I think they've improved in a lot of areas, I think it's the way we're playing as a team more so than individuals really jumping out at us. But I think Graham might be in this conversation, which when you map it out like that, it is a little bit bleak, to be honest, because he's been okay, but he hasn't been amazing. That's a tough one.
Can I throw a couple of names that sort of have impressed me?
Drew's piping up, in the chat. He said that list is enthralling.
Of course he is.
Oh, go back to
Of course he is. Football, though.
Yeah, football.
Oh, God. Mine would be... Just to throw a couple of extra names in there. And I haven't watched West Coast consistently enough. They're not exactly a primetime team at the moment.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah. Ryan Marriage?
Look, I mean, he's probably not far off Graham. Yeah, that would be nice to see for Marriott. Yeah, possibly.
Yeah. I think he's sort of in that conversation.
Yeah.
I've liked Harry Edwards.
Oh, yes. No, sorry. No question. He's in the top 5.
He's in the top 5?
Yeah.
He was in one of my videos in the preseason. I said he could be like a breakout contender from what I'd seen of him last year. Didn't really happen in the same way. I thought he was going to be a little bit better than that, but I think he's going to be a good player.
Yeah. And at West Coast, we gobble that up right now.
Yeah, exactly. Just someone there, like a very big body to play that defensive role. And Tyrell Dua, I think, as an improving player, he probably wouldn't be in that top 5, but he's, he
did get dropped at one point. So there's that. But
I did not know that. Jesse.
Yeah, no, that's right. It was a few weeks ago. Was it? I don't know. Sometime in the middle of the year, he got dropped. However, he has also played games where he's been in our best. So it's just been an up and down season.
Liam Ryan's a weird one in this conversation too, because I feel like I watch him and he looks at times like your most dangerous forward, but I kind of don't know what happens around that.
He can be, and I've liked his work through the midfield and at stoppages this year, but seemingly as soon as he spent more time in the midfield, his radar in front of goal has gone down the toilet. He's become a horrible shot at goal. So not quite in my top 5, but I do like Baz Parks' 5. He's gone Baker 1, Jinby 2, Harley 3, Hoff 4, and Harry Edwards 5. I think that's pretty pretty good.
I'm actually just going to have a look at that. I've just put on the game. We had the Carlton and Melbourne game on, and this one wasn't ready yet. So where is that top 5? Let me scroll
it's like the
down.
fourth last most recent comment by
Gotcha.
Sparks.
Baker 1,
Yeah.
Jimby 2, Harley 3, Hoff 4, Harry Edwards 5. That sounds pretty good.
And it's pretty even. Outside of Baker, I reckon you could rotate 2 to 5 around a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
We do have a few comments here that I sort of haven't gone through. A lot of come on Eagles. I don't care who wins as long as my cousin plays well.
Same.
Who's your cousin? Who's the cousin?
I have no idea.
You have no idea.
I didn't see the comment. No, who posted it?
That is from CMD Blairy TF.
Okay.
Okay, here's not as much. Okay. I know that you don't want this to be West Coast Frio channel, but will you do a Derby stream, says Brandon Cavallaro. That is a question for you, Jesse.
Look, I'm really trying not to make this too much West Coast, and there has been a lot of Freo, and there's been a tiny little bit of North. You've been a real good sport about having, West Coast and Freo games on a lot. To be honest, it comes down to scheduling as much as anything, and we don't want to do a show and miss our team's play. Dylan's the best sport out of all of us. He's willing to do it if North are playing. I'm not willing to do it if West Coast are playing, and Drew's is the same. Having said that, I think we decided next week we'll switch it up a little bit and maybe do the showdown. But let us know in the comments what you think. There might be some Eagles fans in here saying do the Derby, but
I feel like there could be a lot of energy for the Derby.
It could be. I just didn't want to dominate this with West Coast and Fremantle too much. And then the following week there's Collingwood Brisbane. So yeah, let us know in the chat what you reckon. But we think mixing it up could also be good.
I got a good comment here from Simo. He says Jack Darling would have been beneficial to us under a new coach this season.
What are your thoughts? I mean, you've watched him more than I have this year. What do you think?
I mean, I didn't love the trade. I think he's been okay.
Yeah.
I've said this a lot, but I feel like out of our 3 recruits, I've loved Luke Parker. I've hated Caleb Daniel, and Jack Darling somewhere in between that for me.
Interesting.
I feel like when Finbar Maley's been in the team for North, he's probably given us even a little bit more. I know Jack Darling is probably just with his experience, he's a little bit more nousy and he can sort of play the role better than Finbar Maley, who's just a bit sort of, running at the ball, flying at it, creating a bit of chaos, but doesn't necessarily have the sort of end product. But I don't know. I think we could have done it without going after a player like Jack Darling, but I can sort of see what the club was trying to do. I don't feel like he's a massive loss for you guys.
No, but it's been unfortunate that our other forward line leaders also dropped one after the other in Waterman and Allen. So now we are playing like the 3 youngest key forwards on the list, except Archer. Archer's played 11 games though. So Shanahan, Jack Williams, and I've gone blank. I swear there's a third.
Waterman's played a little bit of footy, but
he has, but he's done for the year. It might be Shanahan, Williams, and Bailey Williams. Archer's in the waffle at the moment. So.
Okay,
but either way, my point was that
not Hutchinson as like a third tall.
Nah. I think we are only playing the 2 plus Bailey Williams at the moment.
Okay,
now I think about it, but yeah, I suppose in hindsight, maybe some leadership in the forward line would have been good. We do have Cripps, and it's been nice to see Shanahan get an opportunity. It's nice to see Archer Reid play 11 games. I'm not too sure we miss him too much, to be honest.
Jake has said we could have had Tim English. He wanted to come home, but the Eagles said no.
Is that the case? Because I thought West Coast went for him and he said no.
I don't know anything about that story, so I'll stay out of that one.
Yeah, free agency move last year.
Yes. I feel like if you want a ruckman, you can poach half decent one that can be solid, and that's what starting teams in finals have. So that's from Chris.
Yeah, agreed.
Which is it's true. It's absolutely true, but it doesn't necessarily mean in a draft that you can't doesn't mean you can't take a ruckman with a top pick at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look at Luke Jackson. I think pick 3, no one's except for the team that lost him. But I mean, on talent, pick 3 for Luke Jackson, it makes sense. I think someone like a Cooper Duff Tytler, that comes down to which team's picking.
Exactly.
And I think the risk is smaller if you're Essendon or even Richmond, to be honest. I think there's a little bit
because
more
of the
risk.
Melbourne factor.
Yeah, and it's not because he necessarily is a flight risk, but the development arc for Rucks is a bit longer. So keeping him happy, and if he's getting interest from interstate clubs, it's just another Harley Reid potentially without the star.
I agree with you. But it's like there's already risk, and then you add in more risk with the fact that it's an interstate player as well.
Yeah.
Who are we saying, Jesse? Who are you tipping? I assume you're tipping your Eagles.
I tipped the Eagles by 1 point in the show, so let's double down on that. I am a little bit uncomfortable with the fact that we've been backed as favourites, though.
I'm tipping the Eagles by like 5 goals.
If we win by 5 goals, Richmond will have only kicked 4.
I just feel like they're really going to struggle away from home here. I'm going Harley Reid masterclass. It's about to happen. I'm freaking excited now it's on. I don't know
Game of the year.
why am I excited for these two teams?
See, I know I'm biased, but I actually think sometimes these bottom of the table clashes are awesome.
Yes.
Like when there's a bit of heat. Like Richmond versus West Coast earlier this year was one of the games of the year. No one will remember.
Totally.
It was a good game.
MCG. I reckon probably the most fun I've had doing a stream was the North West Coast game. Yeah. As much as it was kind of hell.
Yeah, we've got to do those when those little True Footy derbies pop up. We've got to do
it. Yeah, that was awesome. So West Coast looked really good out of the stoppage there. Harley looked hungry.
Duggan with a signature bomb forward.
God, he's just Luke McDonald. Like, they may as well be the same player. They just get the ball off the back of the stoppage, kick the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Is this Baker?
Hoff.
Hoffy.
Drives the ball inside
I wanted
50.
to ask you, actually, when we were talking about that before, Hoffy, what's his position? Is he going to be a midfielder or is he a lockdown medium defender?
Since he's moved into the midfield, he's played exclusively there. He hasn't played in his old role since then. So we're looking at like 10 weeks, or maybe it's more than that now. He has games where he looks the goods. I'd love to see him win a few more clearances himself and show some stoppage craft. But I'm not sure if it is the fit long term. But then again, I mean, who's going to displace him over the next couple of years?
So if you say that he's not, like, if you don't think that is long term, what is his best position then?
He was drafted as a wing forward.
Yeah, he's just an outside sort of ball mover, wasn't he?
Exactly, just like maybe a wingman. I'm still hopeful and not optimistic he can be a stoppage player. But I think it's reductive of us to put him as a small defender, for the rest of his career. I think he's capable of more than that.
Yeah. Particularly with the Rock. Because the issue with Hoff, Seth Campbell.
Is that still in play? Is that a spoil mark?
I think that went over the line.
Yeah. Great goal from Seth MacFarlane.
He's had an unbelievably good year. I know there'll be people that are probably... We talked about West Coast a lot in the lead up to this game. What about Richmond? Have you caught much of their games? Because Seth Campbell is one he's a Tasmanian. I'm a Tasmanian.
Oh, yeah.
He stood out to me a lot.
Definitely. I put him in the thumbnail for a reason.
I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Didn't even realise he was in it. Have you seen their season overall?
Yeah. I mean, you'd have to be satisfied, I think, as a Richmond supporter. I mean, if they win tonight, that's 5 wins following a 2-win season with an injury depleted list last year. I think you'd have to be happy. I mean, there's clear evidence of a brand. I think the morale and the spirit that Richmond play with, these are all ticks for a team so young. Long term, it's still way too early to really forecast.
Yes,
how they're tracking rebuild wise. But the kids they do have look talented. Taj Houghton debuted last week.
Yeah,
I think he's a key player, like dictating how good that draft was for them last year. If he hits his straps, I think there's genuine upside there. We know Lawler's probably going to be good.
I think Lawler's. I want to say I think. I almost know Lawler's going to be good at this point. I feel like the only thing that can derail that is his body.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah, which has been that was an issue in his draft. He didn't do a hamstring as well.
It's the same hammy that's actually getting him now. So I think he did that earlier in the preseason as well. But I reckon he's going to be one of those types. Like, I even said it in some of the draft videos. Like, he's one of those twitchy sort of explosive guys that's very big bodied as well. So he's got a lot to carry around.
Yes,
he could struggle with that if they can't get it right early.
Oh, Tim Kelly. That was a good kick inside 50. I don't understand how the Richmond player got to it. That seemed like...
It was Jaden Short too.
Great defending. Oh, great tackle. Baker against his old side.
You guys are up for this. Oh,
Bazza.
Oh.
Was that out on the full? Oh, that is peak.
Was that Williams?
Yes. That was really poor. He actually had more time than you realise there.
Yeah, but they're overall for the Tigers, I think they did so well out of last year's draft, just brought in so much talent. They got another stacked hand this year. They're going to get another couple of good ones. It's really, like it's just all about development for them now.
Who do you like for them in the draft if you're Richmond on the basis of knowing who they took last year? It's not quite the blank canvas it was 12 months ago.
Yeah.
But, which prospects jump out as?
So I think the fact that they took Josh Smiley rules them out of Oliver Greaves.
Agreed.
Same type, that kind of bigger body.
Jack Williams taking
he's
a great
having
grab.
a year too, isn't he?
He also got dropped. It's a free kick against? No, it's a free kick to Liam Ryan.
Surely you just pay the mark there.
At the risk of being pedantic, Williams has faded in and out of this year. Yeah.
He was really good in the game against North.
Okay, I don't even remember him that day.
Yeah, no.
Liam Ryan puts it through.
Yes, Liam Ryan. So this is good. 6 apiece early on.
Yeah, I think it'll be close.
Yeah, West Coast look really up for it, and Harley Reid looks hungry.
He likes playing Richmond. He got the nom against them last year.
That's right. I saw that on your channel.
Yeah.
What were we talking about?
Richmond's draft this year.
Yeah.
Who they're going to take.
So no Ollie Greaves.
Yep.
I reckon perfect for them. I mean, I think if they'd walk away with in a perfect situation if they got Duff Tytler and Sam Grill.
Okay. Would you go that early on Grill?
Yep.
Assuming it's pick 4, I think. At this stage.
I'd be fine with that. I think they'd also be happy with Josh Lindsay type.
I was going to say Lindsay for them.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they're too... I mean, I suppose they have Tom Brown and these outside types like Sam Banks and stuff like that as well. Is he playing more wing now, Sam Banks?
No, he's actually not. He was playing wing.
Yeah.
He's now playing halfback.
Okay. So still, I think there's some appetite for Lindsay.
He's not as sort of surgical though.
Yeah.
Banks, like he's more of a runner.
Yes.
As a halfback. So like Harley's on.
Oh, scrubs the kick inside 50.
Yeah.
But can Ryan gather? It looks like it's...
Ryan's such a good player, man. Like
Clay Hall, Claymation, back to Harley. He's racked up a few posies. Well done.
Great kick.
That was great poise from Harley, and he finds Owies. Yes, Owies.
I thought he was a rubbish pickup for you guys. Sorry to be... Is that too hard?
Well, the thing is with that is the circumstances which led to him being traded to us as well. I mean, if he was traded for pick 50, I don't think anyone would be paying too much attention.
Because it was in that...
But because it was packaged as 12, 14 and Owies for 3, I totally understand that. That was a bombshell. Owies, can he silence Dylan Alexander? He can't. No. Last week he did the same thing. He had a shot, didn't make it, and Flynn marked it in the goal square. But on this occasion, spoiled through.
Yeah, so Richmond, I'm taking 2 of Grill, Duff Tytler, Lindsay for me.
Yeah.
I just think that'd be... I mean, Lindsay's versatile, and people see the halfback and they go like, okay, he's a halfback flanker, but he plays mid. He could play wing. He's one of those guys, like sort of any line. The only thing that Lindsay probably lacks is just like athleticism, really. Mm-hmm. Doesn't have like a heck of a lot of pace or anything like that.
Sam Cummings seems to be... What's happening is Brockman's lining up for goal. Fantastic.
Don't know what that was for.
Yeah, I won't question it. Sam Cummings seems to be a player that's bolting up the rankings right now. Do you think it's foreseeable that he bolts into the top 5?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'd almost say he's there.
Okay.
Already. Obviously,
keep it quiet though, because I kind of want him
later. He's very good. I feel he's been one of the, just a pure midfielder, he's been one of the more consistent players, and he's bloody missed that. That's a shit kick. He's got versatility as well. Like he's very athletic, takes a mark when he goes forward, and just he's one of those guys that brings his opponent, brings him inside forward 50 and just creates headaches and can run all day, has speed, has power. He's not like, I wouldn't call him like a really, really high end kick that would make him kind of put him into that maybe like an Isaac Heaney sort of bracket of a player. But if that's something he can work on a little bit, he's not a terrible kick. And he kicks off both sides. He probably just at this point looks like one of the more, as a mid and a taller, bigger bodied mid that's got pace, he probably looks like one of the more well-rounded prospects in the entire draft for me. And he's performing as well. So it's not as if he's just, a project.
Yeah.
He's someone that's actually putting it down now.
He's kind of emerged as almost like my priority for West Coast. Very quickly. I think he had a breakout performance in the Sandful, was it? Was that the most recent weekend?
Yeah. So he just played and kicked, I think he had 15 touches, kicked 3 goals.
Yeah, that's right.
In the seniors.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
That's what he can do, really. Like he's a headache of an opponent. So it runs through the midfield, can win a clearance, drops in forward, just a versatile modern midfielder, and he's got that running ability. And at the moment, he's like 186. So he probably he could grow a couple more centimeters, be that sort of
Couldn't we all?
Yeah. Be that sort of like big bodied type midfielder. He's quite physical as well. So
yes. Yeah. I think him and someone like a Javan Philippou, who we were discussing the other day over a morning coffee, a couple of players that this draft kind of needed, I reckon, just to really add some.
Jevon's so fun.
Yeah.
He is so fun. I'm really intrigued with what happens with him. Like whether I said to you as well, like I feel there's an element where clubs will look at him and go like, is he a bit too flamboyant with the way that he plays? Just he likes to, show opponents the ball and stuff like that, step around people. And like I feel like sometimes clubs prefer that sort of mentality of like meat and potatoes.
Absolutely.
And don't do that. They don't want too much personality. And I feel like he is a big personality. I think that was a thing that was spoken about too with his brother.
Yes.
In his draft year. So I don't know if that's going to hold him back. I don't really hold that against him. I think he's good to watch.
Surely the Saints will be looking at pairing them.
You'd think so. You'd think they'd definitely have a look. It's whether I feel like they're another one of those teams that lacks a big body in their midfield. So whether they go after a player like Greaves, but I do think that Philippou is a better talent.
Yeah.
So I'd have him slightly higher than Greaves at this stage. Albeit, I feel like Jevon Philippou's relatively gone under the radar. He missed champs.
Yeah.
Which is potentially puts him down a little bit, but pretty much his under 18 football has been awesome. He had a couple of weeks ago, he had like 31 in kick 2. So again, like that forward of centre type midfielder, and he played seniors last week, and I think it was 2 goals, 15 touches.
Yeah.
So
nice.
Yeah, he's just too quick for people at that level.
Sorry, breaking news here. Harley Regis got awarded a free kick.
That never
I haven't
happens.
seen that for
What
a
was
while. He got tackled without the ball, landed in his back.
Yeah, gotcha.
Sorry, West Coast go inside 50. They have been peppering the goals. 1 goal 3 as Baz flies high, but he cannot bring it down, and it's a stoppage in the forward 50.
Joe,
I really don't want one of these games, Dylan, where we sit the ball in our forward 50 the entire time and kick 1 goal 13, was it, against North?
Yeah, it's a bit of a concern with you guys with the entries, isn't it? Because you sort of, you've got a lot of young keys.
Yeah.
Job.
Ooh.
Who's that young? Tyler Young, I
looks
think.
like him.
Yeah, he did the knee, didn't he?
Yeah. 50 metres.
Oh, shit.
I hate the frequency of these 50-metre penalties that are for such minor infractions.
I
know. In some ways, in some cases, I reckon they're not hot enough on 50. And that is an instance there where the player, I don't even know what happened there if he stood over the mark, where it's just like, okay, did that really impact the play at all?
I know. There's so many free kicks that happen in the game at the moment that you're just like, I don't really. Got another one.
Okay, so it's evened out.
Yeah.
But
what was that for? I mean, it was standing rule, obviously.
I can only assume standing rule, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Marek is pretty dangerous in this position.
Yes.
Conservative, but also tidy.
Yeah. But look who's got the ball now. Liam Duggan.
Just aim for a Richmond player, Liam. Then it'll end up in our hands.
We've got a couple of comments that I'll go to in a second.
Sure.
As Richmond, I think they're actually out here at the moment. So JD Eagles says, can the Swans still make finals after their win today?
What did you think of the North and Sydney game? I missed it as I was getting ready for this, actually.
Honestly, I don't think we're going to win or really come too close to any team this season without Tristan Xerri.
Yeah.
We got absolutely boned in the ruck. It was just an absolute mauling.
Was the clearance numbers fairly even? Oh, I looked at about halftime and it was actually kind of even.
I haven't even looked. I do think we were doing pretty well to shark.
Sure.
Our mids. I mean, that's our one wood. That's really the only way North get any foothold in any game through the midfield. It helps when you've got Tristan Xerri who's actually directing the ball for you. But I think we did all right. But eventually, Isaac Heaney, I was kind of setting this stuff up while the game was on, so I didn't watch every minute of it. But every time I looked over, Isaac Heaney had the ball, was having a shot, was taking an intercept mark, just doing something crazy. I think he had 34 touches, kicked 5 goals. So we just, I don't know, North, when there's a player like that and they're really in form, we just don't handle them.
Yeah, fair.
And you can probably relate to that a little bit with West Coast.
No.
No, usually, yeah, we're fine with those guys. He had 166 fantasy points, Isaac Heaney. 34 disposals, 85% disposal efficiency, 5 goals, 1. How many clearances? 13 clearances.
Wow. Oh, dear. There's a Richmond goal coming up.
Oh, Jonty.
Didn't bring it down. Unlucky. I reckon Richmond has taken about 7 or 8 intercept marks in their back 50 in this quarter. And I don't think West Coast did well enough there to stop that ball going from end to end. I think there was a few broken tackles.
Yeah. I do feel like in the last couple of minutes, like you had that real energy and intensity about you when the game started and you're dying a little bit, whether that's
It's breaking down a half forward, which is been common for
that becomes pretty deflating as well.
Yes, it does. Thankfully, we're still in front.
You mentioned their intercept marking. Are you blaming that on the entries? Or are you blaming it on the forwards?
I'm blaming it on the entries from what I've seen so far.
Okay.
I don't think there's been too much clean ball going inside 50.
Oh, trainer. Harley's gone. I reckon Harley is up for this game.
Yeah. Absolutely. Oh, we got domination. We got a donation from JD Eagles, $7.99.
Oh.
Thank you so much, JD.
That is very nice of you.
What a legend. Appreciate you.
He's actually got another comment too that I didn't read. I feel like Harley will stay at the Eagles after last week. So I guess he's drawing a line there with the Jason Horne-Francis thing. The fact that he called him a mummy's boy and you only stayed for 1 year, which kind of then he can't just stay for 2 or 3, can he? Like that's like a little bit contradictory.
It depends. I don't know. I didn't take too much out of that. It depends. Did Horne-Francis say, "Oh, you're just going to leave this year anyway"? And he's like, "Well, you stayed for 1." Like that could be
true.
What happened? You know,
I never even considered that.
Yeah, as Dewar takes an uncontested mark inside 50.
That was better ball movement.
Yeah, it was.
Not the easiest of shots here though.
No, he's pretty good in front of goal, Tyrell.
This would be big. This would be big.
It's almost needed.
Okay, so you're not taking anything from the Horne-Francis.
Nah, that was a clash of egos. I do think it's probably a good sign. But, sorry, Tyrell is lining up and he's come off the side of the boot. And nearly...
Clay Hall?
Yeah, that's Clay Hall.
That was Sims. Dropped a bit of a sitter there, Tommy. Tommy boy, he's done all right. Did you see the retort from Horne-Francis? Like they interviewed him about it this week in the media and he's like... Yeah, I see a bit of the kid in me, like real patronising. Like gave him the sort of like kiddo.
True.
I thought that was pretty funny when he's like, "What is he? 1 year older?"
Yeah,
like maybe 2.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that'll be an interesting battle.
Yeah, good players though.
Yes, yeah. I thought Harley was really good for us last week.
What
happened there? Was that a grab? Is Cripps concussed? Was that a mark?
I looked down at the comments for a second.
Yeah,
and
that was a very courageous mark. I presume it was a mark and not a free kick because it kind of looked like it bounced out, but maybe not. Outstanding.
Rioli's copped one, I think.
Okay.
Let's have a look here. Oh.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, good mark.
Yeah, good mark. It didn't...
He sort of, when you actually watch him, he's like pretty much turned his head away and just like held the arms out.
And the Velcro gloves on. Cripps. That's the second time I've done that. Cripps kicks our second goal and 15-7 is the score.
I'm actually up and about for you guys for this one.
Oh, thanks, mate. It's because we're no longer a threat to anyone. We can't take the... Well, you can't win the spoon now, so...
We can't. We're definitely not getting out of the bottom 4 either, though.
Yeah, no, I think that's pretty much locked in.
Oh
yeah.
At the start of the season, how did you tip the bottom 4 out of interest?
I think I had Melbourne bottom 4, and then North, then West Coast, then Richmond.
I thought I had Melbourne bottom 4, but I had them 5th bottom. So mine was... I had the Saints.
Okay. Well, that's looking pretty good right now.
It is, but I actually think the correct answer should have been Essendon.
When you say correct, as in you think that's the way it will go now?
I think that's the way that it'll go.
I suppose, but then it comes into the injury crisis is likely leading to that, so you wouldn't be blamed for not getting that right.
Sure.
I suppose we kind of had it pretty close. I reckon St Kilda would have been the next team above that for me. So we've generally got the teams right.
I think that is the bottom 4 of 24 as well.
Shanahan, sorry, distracted. Nearly took a great grab.
No, it can't be. Melbourne must have been.
Melbourne was 5th last year, I thought. Adelaide were bottom 4.
They were too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's crazy.
Bottom 4 to top 4.
Potentially.
Yeah. Most likely.
I think you're right.
Pretty safe.
They got a pretty good run.
They got Gold Coast this week.
Yep.
That'll be tomorrow.
Yep. They could win that.
Yeah, I've tipped them.
That's at home as well because the last time they played, they lost by a point. I'm not mistaken there. So
it was a contentious decision, but did it involve Mac Andrew? Mac Andrew and Thilthorpe going at it.
Did Thilthorpe? I thought maybe Rankin.
Yeah, maybe Rankin was. I can't remember who was involved, but there was that fight that carried on.
There was like a mark, and it was like almost a mark.
Yeah.
And then it went out of bounds, and then Mac Andrew was like giving it to Thilthorpe.
That was a fiery battle. Yeah,
it was.
I remember watching it. It was a good game.
They're a team that I didn't have in the top 8, the Gold Coast.
No, well, I think there's only so many times you can predict it
and
be proven wrong.
Exactly.
And then next year go, no, stuff it.
Druzy and I talked about that a lot earlier in the season about how they're all like, I want to put them in based on their players.
Yes.
But there's just zero trust.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it comes down to. And conversely, there's teams that you might look at and go, I don't know if I rate that, but because of their name, you know that they're probably going to be around the mix. Like someone like a Geelong, maybe not this season.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you have a team that you have like almost like too much trust in?
Yeah, it's probably the Cats, but I wouldn't say too much because they're always in the 8.
Yeah, they don't let you down very often.
Yeah, no, you can just bank on them.
I think there's a chance that they miss the top 4.
Really? I need to look at the ladder before I agree, but Cripps, great mark.
I think there is a chance. I'm not saying that it's necessarily even likely.
Oh, there's a play here for the Eagles. Brady Hoff has some speed, but tell you what, Rioli has done a great job
Jesus.
there. Yeah, outstanding. Yep. That had shades of Tom Brown on Tom Gross last time these two sides met.
It did so.
Hoff is quick. I just think he had no idea that there was a cat bounding after him.
Yeah.
He wasn't going top speed, that's for sure.
You think his teammates could have let him know?
Yeah, that was my first reaction, but then I think there was no one near him. So
no.
Oh. Well done. That's Rioli's goal. Great chase down the centre ground. They love doing that to us, and it's kind of ironic that it's happened again. Thankfully, it wasn't a game-winning moment.
No. It's a big turnaround, though. Like, they could have... That would have put you guys 2 goals in front, really. Like, that was probably a certain goal if you got the disposal off.
Well, with West Coast, there's no such thing. But we'll call that a 12-point play. Give them the credit for it.
Well, that is a good tackle.
Yeah. When I saw... you could see him gaining on him, and you're just like, surely not. Surely not. Oh, come on.
Like, even... You saw him closing in, but you're like, he's kind of going to have to take, like, another momentum cycle to sort of get him, like, another step.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
That can be a momentum killer. That if you even think we had momentum, it was fairly even contest so far.
How much, if you did lose this game, how much would it hurt you? Sorry to get too deep on you.
I don't know. I don't know. I think I'm kind of dead inside from years of losses. Look, it would be a bad. Like, the thing that would gut me. That's a great tackle on Harley Reid. I think the thing that would gut me if we lost this was that it would consign us to basically guaranteed a 1-win season, which puts us up there with, well, I mean, since I've been following footy, I reckon only GWS has done that in their first season.
Have North had a 1-win season?
I don't think so.
I don't think we have.
No, even in the shortened season.
Yeah, we've always had a couple.
Yeah, my phone's gotten very hot suddenly.
It does happen.
All
Thomas
the messages
Sims
from women.
Blade says, how bad a West Coast? Lol.
Yeah, no, pretty good, man.
Thanks for that, Blade.
Yeah.
And Ellie Louth says, I don't know if I've pronounced that right, Louth. Grand final matchup prediction. I said preseason GWS and Hawthorn, which is not looking great.
Yeah.
I would have to say now, I have to have Brisbane in there.
Quick one. Without looking at your phone, guess who's had the most fantasy points on the field?
Ooh. In this game?
Yes.
Who's had the most fantasy points on the field? It's got to be... I would have thought it would have been Harley.
It is Jamie Cripps.
Oh, God.
He's actually had a couple of good minutes here, but he's had 7 possessions and a couple of marks.
He kicked that goal, didn't he?
He did, yeah. And a couple of, the marks obviously count for points.
Yeah. Where's Harley in that conversation?
He's only on like 24. Seven possessions, though. Harry Edwards, great mark.
Oh, no.
West Coast footy. Do something great and then concede a goal. Not that it is a goal.
Look, as soon as he took off then, I'm like, this looks too aggressive for him.
Yeah. I'm going to restart my phone. He's been doing that a little bit. He's been backing himself in, and he has a very penetrating kick. It's not one that hits targets at long range, but it goes flat and hard, and it's markable.
Yeah, I mean, that type of player, all you really want them to do is just give it to a ball mover.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's one of two options. It's kick the shit out of it to a contest, or it's just give it to somebody else.
Yes, yeah.
You'd really like to see his disposal efficiency at close to 100.
Yeah, that's right. I think he does have high efficiency for that reason.
Yeah.
He normally does. That one, I'll agree there. That one was uncharacteristically risky because it was a cross goal.
Yep.
Normally he'll sort of kick it down the line.
He just got a bit excited.
Yeah.
Bit of tempo here from West Coast. You don't really like to play tempo, do you?
We did last week against Port Adelaide exclusively in the first quarter, and we kicked 6 goals to 2.
Wow.
Yeah, it was unusual for us.
You've tended under McQualter, though, to be that more chaotic team, right?
Absolutely,
like, very direct.
Yeah. I think it'd be nice to develop into a team that can switch between gears, because I don't think you can be...
No, 100%.
Yeah, manic all the time, right?
Yep.
Especially if you're not scoring, then the scores blow out.
Oh, exactly. And you'll just run out of... I feel like that game style, too, it's very energy depleting.
Absolutely, yeah.
2 minutes to go. We've got a good game on our hands here.
We do. Richmond could make a play to win the quarter here. 2 minutes to go. Kicks it inside.
That's a shocking
50,
kick.
But, it's nearly clean bowled. McCarthy, is that in danger? No.
Oh, McCarthy, what have you done?
Yeah. That was a bit sloppy from Tom Cole.
And then he gives a second one.
Was it legged? Yeah.
No, he's given high.
Okay.
I think the first one was high, and then the umpires let it go and then paid the second one, which wasn't high.
Yeah, okay.
It was a massive, Taranto led with the head.
Mm. Well, Richmond lining up to go in front. I wouldn't say they don't deserve to be in front, but I think the Eagles would be kicking themselves for not building a lead when they had momentum.
I haven't looked at the stats at all, but I'd imagine you've had more inside 50s.
Yeah. I've just reset my phone because it was hot and I want to make sure it's not... Oh, I can get it up on here.
I'll bring that up.
I would guarantee as well that we have more inside 50s.
Inside 50s, 14-8 in your favour.
There you go.
Clearances, 9-6 in your favour.
Richmond in front.
Tim Taranto is one of those inside bull-type midfielders that just always seems to kick goals.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a goal kicker, isn't he?
Yeah, but like a shocking field kick.
Yeah.
Did we talk? Was that you and I that were talking about that? How there's these players that can push forward and seem to be really accurate when they head forward, but their field kicking's poor.
I don't think you had that conversation with me. But
right.
Yeah.
Let's have it then.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
Yeah.
We had some comments coming through too.
Yeah.
Druzy says, I'm really gutted I'm missing this matchup. Guys, please update me with the play-by-play analysis. I think he wants more play-by-play.
I'm trying to think of a joke, but I can't think of anything.
Sam
Surely
Coop?
he has better things to do than being
Surely, where are you?
Bratislava.
That he was. I saw that in his stories. He's in Bratislava.
Yeah.
Go get one of those soups where it's like a cream soup that's inside the bread. They'll serve you one of those. You know those.
True, yeah. I think he said he was doing some cockfighting today. Yeah. He didn't say watching, interestingly.
Oh, dear. Brandon Cavallaro says, pretty sure Freo had a 1-win season.
Did they?
I think they did.
Well, they've never won the spoon. Maybe... No, I don't think they've ever won the spoon.
Didn't Freo...
Oh, they did 0-1. I think they won
Yes, yeah. It was when I was a kid.
Yeah, I reckon it was 0-1 because they traded that pick and it became Luke Hodge. I reckon that's what it was.
Oh, gee, that's a disaster class.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Quarter time here. Richmond lead by 5 points over West Coast. Jesse, what do you think about that quarter?
Shout out to Melanie who's at the game and still tuning into the stream. Thank you, Melanie.
That's crazy.
Oh, yeah, frustrating. We were probably the better side for like 60% of that quarter, but we finished behind. A combination of bad entries, sloppy shots on goal, and then conceded well, that was that 12-point play we said with Hoff, whether it was actually 12 points, but it ended up in a Richmond goal. And all those things are the difference between us being in front and not. So I'm still optimistic. Like, we're not playing so badly that I don't think we can win, obviously. But, geez, we need to get... the team that wins this game is going to be better with their opportunities.
It feels a little bit like, to me, one of those games when you're watching soccer and it's a really top-end team against a lowly placed team. And in this case, you're the top-end team and you're getting hit on the counter.
We're lower, though.
I know, but you've got no quality. Like, you're winning the ball, I suppose, is what I mean. Like, more possession and stuff like that. And then they're hitting you on the counter and there's just space in behind.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I know exactly what you're referring to there. Like one of those games where Man City has like 81%.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really big bow to draw to say you guys are like Man City.
Yeah,
but
we kind of are, though.
Just in this matchup.
Yeah.
Just in this matchup.
No, I get the point. Yeah.
JD says, should have put my money on Richmond.
Well, that's going early for an Eagles fan.
That's
JD.
going very early.
I wouldn't go that far. I think this is genuinely a 50-50 game, and I thought that going into it. I just tipped out of loyalty, to be honest.
I think if Harley can get going here, he can bring those key forwards into the game, there will be a chance. Mitchell Dawson says red time goal, standard.
Yeah, so we do love that.
Yeah, and it was Duggan's dog shit. Sounds about right. Mitch Dawson's having a bad time. Jake says, I think there has been a massive overcorrection from the umpires in giving West Coast free kicks. We barely got any free kicks. We barely get any free kicks now every time we play at home. Umpiring is abysmal. Is that a thing?
I agree. So a few years ago, like when Alan Richardson was coach of St Kilda, I think it was him who made a comment that there's a noise of affirmation at Optus. And then the home crowd got favoured. It's hard to tell. When I watch us at Optus, it feels like we're getting killed by the umps, but sometimes that can be the crowd. However, there was an analysis, and it said it was like the free kick differential, and like West Coast and Fremantle got slaughtered basically over the course of the season by their own home, well, not the home umpires, but at home games, they had the worst differential.
Against them?
Yeah, but this year. So there is some data to suggest it's real.
Wow.
Being an Eagles fan, I will say that like the crowd booing and getting up and about when it's not paid on the ball is sometimes creeps into you and you think you're getting robbed by the umps. In this particular game, I feel like both teams are getting free kicks. I haven't noticed bad umpiring. It feels, if anything, over-umpired.
I actually totally agree with you. I mean, I feel like that's a trend, isn't it? It's not necessarily that the umpiring is... I mean, there are examples of it being bad as well. But it's more just that sort of a free kick goes and you're sort of like, what's that for? Just
Yeah, like those back-to-back 50-metre penalties for like encroaching on the protected area.
It's just
lucky
like
they went both ways, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, it's more like you could just let that go.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's also, I reckon that's difficult for people that are trying to get into the game and watch the game as well. And you've got people, asking you like, what actually happened there? And you're like, I don't know. Yeah, I've watched this game and followed this game since I was a child, but I have no idea what just happened there, which makes it a little bit difficult. Brandon Cavallaro, if a red time goal is a goal in the last minute, what's a goal in the first minute? A green time goal?
No.
You got me. You got me.
Yeah.
Richmond with $2.25 to win, which is surprising.
From that point of view, yes, he probably should have put money on it. Like, I think it shouldn't have been in our favour, the odds.
Yeah.
I don't understand why we were favourites.
There was to me though, I had no intuition at all that I would have tipped Richmond in this game. Like it was all...
You felt like you would have tipped West Coast?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, interesting.
Almost, just like the home factor alone would have been enough to do that for me. I don't think... And Richmond's form last 5 weeks, and I thought this would happen to them after their pretty hot start, that they'd dip a bit, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. But I mean, as much as it's West Coast lifting for a win, I mean, Richmond clearly also doing the same thing. Both teams sensing a potential kill.
Yep.
Could be a little rivalry between these two clubs over the next stretch. I mean, we're 1 year into this, or 2 years into this little shared rebuild path. And, we've had one ripping game, and this one looks like it could go down to the wire. That's the feel I'm getting early.
Talk to me about Tom McCarthy.
Good player. Mid-season draftee, number 1 selection. 24-year-old who was stacking shelves at Woolies. Not sure if it was full-time. That's not relevant. Not sure what kind of hourly rate he was on. But
I think he was subcontracting.
I think he was playing Ammos last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he was.
And shot up to, West Coast stardom at the moment. I mean, I'm trying to think of what the stat was. I saw a crazy stat that he was really highly ranked for a player for 3 games. I can't remember. I've butchered that. But what he's added to this team, I think he's good enough as that sort of driving force off halfback. He's shown athleticism, speed, agility with ball in hand and poise, and he's quite daring, which is great to see from a guy who's played, I think it's his 4th game, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 5th. He's playing like a senior player from day dot, and he's got the skills to back it up. So looking forward to seeing him after an actual preseason, because he doesn't look like an athlete, but gee, he plays like one.
Absolutely. And I've heard a lot of West Coast fans talking about him potentially being one of those players that does go into the midfield and be a bit of a transitional mid for you. Do you think you could do that?
I think there is certainly an appetite from like a needs point of view to at least experiment with him. As a midfielder, I mean, like, so much of that comes down to, can you read the ball in a stoppage situation?
Yes.
But I almost like, if it's between a choice of wing and halfback, I actually think as halfbacks you influence the game more. I'd hate to see him getting stuck up on the fat side of the wing and not getting the footy like a lot of wings do these days. Certainly at West Coast, the wingmen get the fewest possessions on the field. So driving off half-back, I'm pretty comfortable with what he brings at the moment.
You want the ball in his hands more often.
Yeah.
There's another one of those kicks. Yeah. That is almost actually identical to how the first quarter started.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I reckon that's like 8 or 9 that have happened that way, to be honest.
Oh, God.
I'm just going to grab a beer. Would you like one?
I would love one.
Let's do it.
I'd love it. So what do we got here? I'll go through some of the stats while Jesse steps away. Looking at the player stats here. So most disposals, Harley Reid has had 9 at 77% disposal efficiency. Looking at the clearances, he's top of the clearances as well, which I'm not surprised by. He was sort of everywhere, particularly at the beginning of that first quarter. Brady Hoff's had 3 clearances, so
that's good.
West Coast have definitely dominated around the ball. They've hurt you on counterpunch though.
Absolutely, yeah. We're not particularly good at defending transition, and sometimes when we push up high, obviously we get exposed.
Number 1 fantasy player. Don't look at my app. Who's the number 1 fantasy player right now?
Is it a Richmond player?
It's a Richmond player.
I've only been looking at the Eagles players, to be honest.
And it's very obvious when you sort of.
I was going to say Taranto.
No, not obvious in the sense of like a typical player that would be. Obvious in the sense of how this game is playing out.
Is it a defender? Is it Jaden Short?
No.
Is it a tall?
It's a medium.
Ugh.
But he plays like a tall, if that helps.
Vlastrin?
Yeah.
Vlastrin? That name, I've been saying it for 10 years and it still trips me up.
Vlastrin, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that does make sense.
And I reckon that's largely off intercept marks.
Yeah, totally. I'm disappointed that it took me like 5 guesses.
What do you say if you were saying what you call him? What would you call him? I'd say he plays tall, but he's a medium.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's is that McCarthy? No, is it Owies? Oh, that's actually a hit of target inside 50.
Off it was.
Oh, it was. Yeah, that makes sense because it hit the target. Yeah, Liam Ryan shooting for goal now. Yeah, look, that's a tough one with categorising players because there's a few players that play above their height. Like, I mean, Tom Stewart, Ruben Jinby can be sort of considered keys in the way that they play sometimes. Lostrin's another one. He's only 186 or something, isn't he?
Yeah, it's low. It's lower than you expect. Yeah. It's like mid 180s.
Yeah. I think there's more examples. Oh, Sicily was that example.
Yeah, he's the same.
He's like 187, I think.
Yeah.
So that's a tough one. I don't find myself willing to call Jinby a key defender because I think he's 191 officially.
Yeah.
But they do play like them sometimes. Well, Lostrin pretty much plays the same role week in, week out.
It's funny because Luke Traynor is kind of that too, even though he's 194.
Yes.
So much closer to a key position height, but doesn't necessarily play like that.
No. I mean, Ryan Merrick's 196.
He's that tall,
is he?
He's that
tall, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So, but similar to Traynor, doesn't play as a key position player.
More of a baller.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
A real baller.
A real baller. You're going inside 50.
Again. Oh, is that a bit of a chop on Ryan? He has
close.
not been paid anything. Yeah, it's hard to tell.
Do you think sometimes umpires trust experienced players?
That had not occurred to me. In what sense?
So look at the tackler.
Yeah.
Or potential infringer, like in that situation, the defender, And if that was, what's a good example? If that was Luke Trainer,
more likely to
likely to pay the chop.
I sincerely hope they don't think like that. At least even unconsciously, I really hope not.
I feel like they do it. I feel like it's a. I talk about soccer probably too much in comparing it to AFL, but you know when a really high-end team in the World Cup plays a lower team, and they over-adjudicate against the lower team because they sort of don't trust them from going into tackles. They think they're going to be a little bit more physical, a little bit more dirty.
Okay, I've never thought about that.
Yeah,
but I get the logic.
It's a thing in soccer. I'm sort of doing it for they have players like a player like I don't know Scott Pendlebury or Marcus Bontempelli is less likely to give away a free kick.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I really hope that doesn't come into their thinking, but it's entirely possible.
I don't think it comes I think it's subconscious.
Yeah, subconscious. Yeah. Still.
Yeah. So there's somebody in the chat really keen for you to draft Sam Cumming.
I think he's a bit of the buzz name in West Coast circles at the moment.
Really?
Yeah, I think West Coast have just been crying out for a genuine midfielder to arrive as a top-end prospect that we can choose.
Yep.
With some reservations about Dyson Sharp. Seems like one of the more divisive players in terms of where he's rated.
Crazily.
And it's kind of a case of, well, if you want the best midfielder, it's Dyson Sharp. But now to have a few other options like Sam Cumming, throw their names into the mix, I think that's why people are interested.
My big thing there with Cumming versus Sharp or versus whoever really, and looking at West Coast's list.
Seth Campbell, devastating run through the centre of the ground.
That's a great goal. Oh, that hurts.
Oh, worrying signs for West Coast as Richmond get a 10-point lead. Sorry, continue.
That was a great goal from Seth Campbell. Good run through the middle. And Richmond are starting to get on top here, worrying for the West Coast Eagles. Your midfielders that you currently have, and I actually wrote a few of these down going into this just to have a bit of a look at it. So who is in your team? I'm looking at your mid. So for the future, and I've not included any of those players that are senior type players like Kelly or Yo or any of those guys because they're not really going to be around, right, for the next push. Elijah Hewitt, Bo Allen, Jack Hutchinson, Jack Graham, Harley Reid, Brady Hoff, Clay Hall, Tom Gross, Tyrell Dewar. So that's sort of the list of next-gen Eagles midfielders, I would say. I feel like you've got potentially in Brady Hoff, potentially in Clay Hall, potentially in Tom Gross, you've sort of got in and under players there that can win stoppage, win clearance.
Agreed, but I kind of also like the idea of having a genuine stoppage player there to take that responsibility away from Harley and Elijah. You know, I'd love Harley being the second receive midfielder rather than the bloke getting it from the bottom of the pack out and then, handballing it to himself. I mean, he's had to do that at times.
Do you think, though, that could be any of those players that are currently on your list, be it Hoff, probably more of that like defensive / stoppage player?
Yes, yeah.
Tom Gross, though. Tom Gross is a pretty hard-nosed, or would you prefer someone there that's like a bigger body, a little bit more physical?
I mean, if he can become a Lockie Neal, I reckon that goes a long way. But obviously that's a huge if. But I just meant in terms of that like style of stoppage player, like small body doesn't faze me as much.
There's probably no one on West Coast's younger brigade list, though, that's like a known quantity yet.
Of course.
So you kind of can't. I mean, Richmond would be the same. North would be the same. It's like none of them are truly bankable.
Yeah.
Harley Reid.
Harley Reid's bankable, but will he be there is another question.
Yeah. I mean, Elijah Hewitt feels like he's becoming a bit more of a sure thing. Yeah, but I just look at the breakdown. I mean, I see Hewitt as more of that transitional mid. That can kind of get from contest to contest, has speed.
But he doesn't have the endurance, though. I think he's a bit more power, explosive, impact.
He is. I think he is a pretty good runner, though, Hewitt. As an endurance, I don't have times or anything like that to kind of put up against him. Yeah. I get what you mean. He's definitely more of a speed and power guy, but I feel like he still can be that, I don't know, something similar to like a Holmes.
Wow. Yeah. I don't know if he has that running capacity, to be honest.
Yeah, okay.
But perhaps it's something he can develop.
Sure.
These things do tend to be natural, but players become better in that.
You see him sort of drifting out, not able to sort of keep that going?
I think in the full evolution of the West Coast midfield, let's say we get all the pieces right, I think Hewitt will spend time forward and rotate through the midfield. Primarily midfield, not like a impact midfielder. But
so would you see more of that sort of dusty
Yeah, yeah.
50% forward, 50% mid.
Yeah,
Really?
maybe even more midfield than forward, but I just don't think he'll be that run all day kind of contest to contest guy.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
I sort of thought that he potentially could be. I know he's he's an explosive type. I thought he could be Chad Warner, who has definitely been that sort of 80% midfield guy. And then probably Heaney's been... They mix and match a little bit, Sydney, but like Heaney has been that sort of forward, strike sort of guy, if you want to call it that.
50-metre penalty will give Richmond a shot on goal. Maybe in time. He's a fantastic trainer, Elijah Hewitt. So potentially.
A lot of injuries too, right?
Yeah. He's had a good run this year, touch wood. He's been managed for this week. He has been fading a little bit. So it's good that we are able to give him that break.
Sure.
And not be forced to play him every week like we did a couple of years ago.
What about someone like a Bo Allen? Would you see them as could potentially being that transitional midfielder, or do you see more of that medium defender?
I hope so. That's a really good question. I think the one thing that Bo probably needs to prove is genuine stoppage craft.
Yeah.
He's got the athleticism. He's a big body, as Maurice Rioli lets us off with a behind. 11 points the margin. He's got the athleticism. He's got the strength. And definitely some versatility. But I would love to see him prove himself as a ball-winning midfielder. Could he be a Jordan Dawson that can't kick? That's still a pretty good player, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, look, that's a big question mark. I think if he's not a midfielder, he'll be a halfback and a wing. But he needs to prove that stoppage craft. So a big question mark, but definitely some potential there.
For sure. I see him as having the fundamental athleticism to play the modern game, but I think you're right. It's more his technical ability at the moment's not there. But I'd rather coach that than have the technical ability and he doesn't have the athleticism and he's not, truly good enough.
Yeah.
In some ways, although it's all pretty important at the end of the day. But I don't know. I see this kind of comes back to that Sam Cumming conversation that I feel like he's the sort of player. He is that contest to contest mid that you actually need.
Yes,
more so than the Dyson Sharp stoppage player.
You've sold me. But yeah, look, the endurance and the running power that Cumming seems to have, as well as some degree of stoppage ability, versatility. Yeah, I mean, I suppose the only difference is he's not quite as well performed as someone like a Dyson, but I think he's currently I say priority. Would we pick him at pick one? There's a lot of water to go under the bridge first, but I really want him on the list.
I think, though, when you talk about well performed, I think he's got the way that he plays and the way that he hits the scoreboard and gets the ball more conducive to doing it at the top level than Dyson Sharp.
Okay. Yes.
That's sort of my read.
Yeah.
Albeit,
athleticism being a big factor in that?
Big factor.
Yep.
Yeah, big factor. I feel like that's sort of been my issue with Dyson overall, albeit had an awesome champs and all of that, but just, not having strength being a really big component to his game.
Clay Hall has lined up for a behind. Damn it. Sorry. Continue.
Yeah, that would have been a nice goal.
That would have been nice.
But not having not necessarily being the most technical player either. So you're getting a stoppage player that's I feel is a little bit messy in there as well, and that's why I've made comparisons to someone like a James Warple.
Yep,
that type of player where they sort of there's not really an area of their game where they're truly dominant, other than they're sort of beating you up around the ball, which is probably, in my opinion, never been less important.
Agreed. I think you can make the case for where West Coast is right now. A player who can beat you up around the ball, but limited hurt factor would still be a nice addition to this developing team. Albeit, we don't want someone who's going to get torched the other way as well.
I guess
Speaking of, Richmond are about to torch us on the
they
counter-attack.
missed the kick though. McCarthy's had a couple of moments tonight, but
Harry. Oh, that was a smother. That was great by Rioli.
is just possessed.
Don't kick a goal here. Jeez. I tell you what, Richmond clearly a level above West Coast so far tonight.
Yep. Yeah, you'd have to say that now. That was very Man City, that goal.
Yeah.
Take it to the byline, chip it back in. Oh, God, I use too many soccer references.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. It's good to have analogies.
Rioli's been...
He's claimed 2 goals for him tonight, and he will be credited with none because they were both goal assists.
At the beginning of the season, I left him out of my Richmond best 23 to start the season.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, based on what I knew, I would have not argued against it.
I got a lot for that though. I got a lot of hate for that. Yeah, Richmond fans are very keen, but I don't think he's been in the team all year.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, he's having a cracking game tonight.
Far out.
Real selfish stuff. Selfless stuff, rather.
I'm going to go to the bathroom really quickly.
Yeah,
I think
sure.
there's a few people in the comments.
Go next. Yeah. Let's just go at the same time. Save water. Carlton are up by 19 points at halftime in the other game, says JD. Have West Coast been better than a one-team season this season? Yeah, I do think they have, but it does not look likely that they will become that. As in, I think they will be a one-win season team. Thoughts on Wayne Carey's wine bar incident? I don't know what that was. I saw a Facebook post about that, and I kind of kept scrolling, and then there was another Coldplay concert meme. I don't really know too much about it, but if you want to let us know, that'd be great. Is Druzy going to be back in time for finals? Yes, he will. I think he gets back in August, mid-August. So, yes, we're a good few weeks away from that. So enjoy this while it lasts. West Coast mopping up in their back half. It has been back half footy for West Coast in this quarter. Richmond really dominating proceedings. And it feels like the game's almost at breaking point. I know that sounds silly, but West Coast being 4 goals down, they're not really a team that scores quickly. So Richmond can build a match-winning lead pretty early. So fingers crossed we get the next one. The AFL did wonders to not attract people to the game by having 2 lowish teams on whilst Storm and Manly and Wallabies versus Lions was on. Interesting. I didn't even know there was rugby games on. I'm so unaware of what happens in the rugby world, to be honest with you. Bailey Williams has Hutchinson or Hall? It's hard to tell. It looks like Hutchinson. Have to kick from the paint.
You need this.
He is a known goal kicker, just not so much at AFL level yet.
Yeah, well, when he played VFL for Collingwood, he was kind of their main key forward, right? Their main goal kicker.
Yeah, I think he kicked 5 on debut in the waffle for us.
That's right.
And then immediately came in as a. Well, actually, no. I think he played forward early.
He's popped it up.
Well, he wasn't ideal, but I suppose maybe the best option. Rockman, Kelly, Richmond through Houghton. Get a rebound 50, although it could come back. It's a foot race between Bazzo and Seth Campbell. That is not the guy you want to be in a race
and
with.
it's sat for him.
He has done very well, but it actually works out for West Coast.
Yeah, he just couldn't recover quickly enough. You're on here, though.
Bazzo needed to kill that ball.
Oh, I feel like he didn't have to go long there.
Shanahan, here's your moment. Almost. Oh, yeah, man in front takes the mark entirely young.
You haven't really had much representation from those key forwards. I feel like, though, that kick, I think, was it Dewar that ran through the middle? Or
I think so. I think it was Dewar that kicked it, yes.
He had some kind of medium length targets that he just ignored. Oh, Reed. So good.
Merrick.
Here you go, out the front.
Harley, do something with it.
Not a great kick.
Nah, awful
Far
kick.
out.
Awful kick by Harley. Oh, an intercept here, the Hutchinson, the known goal
kick
kicker.
This one.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, no, no. Oh, no.
It's swung in the air.
Oh, what?
Marek, can he kick a goal? Liam Duggan, no.
West Coast might be more frustrating than North Melbourne.
Yeah, this is a particularly frustrating performance from us.
Oh, dear. I can't tell because we're doing a stream. Is this worse than the Richmond-Essendon game last week?
I didn't watch that. I watched the other game. Was there another game on that? Was there another game on?
I don't know.
I didn't catch
I feel like everybody was forced into watching that one, but
I can't remember.
That was horrific.
I think I was in Perth, so I couldn't watch it. That's what it was.
Yeah. The skills in that game were probably the worst I've ever seen.
Yeah.
R1FTZ says, I hope we stay away from Sharp. Can't play on the outside, slow and doesn't have a second position. Yeah, I'd sort of agree with that.
That's a much needed goal. I just almost sort of got led into believing we were further down than we are. Because it just, like, they got a few goals and then we're dominating. Yeah. And I was like, oh, now we're only 10 points down.
Yeah, and I mean, they're not a team that's going to, like, consistently be on top of you either. I feel they're going to go in waves.
Yeah.
You're 100% right, and you said it off the top. You're going to struggle to score.
Yeah,
and that it was very true.
Yeah, I mean we're getting we're getting supply in a loose sense. Like we're actually getting inside 50s. We're getting opportunities.
It's a pretty poor ball.
The ball inside 50 is ugly, plus a very young and ill-equipped forward line.
This is my point, though, about the draft with one of those top 2 picks at least. Like, I've got no issue with West Coast drafting Dyson Sharp, but with a top 2 pick, like, you need ball use.
Yes, agreed.
You don't want another big-bodied mid just kicking the shit out of the ball.
Harley sidestepped someone.
He's got to hit this. He's got to hit this.
He's gone pretty far and he's handballed it. It will count as a turnover, but he did gain like 50 metres.
Yeah, he did okay there.
The stat won't show much there. Mind you, I don't know how Champion Data would record that, to be honest, but just took a little bit too much on.
It's a good question whether that is actually a turnover because they didn't...
Baker.
Baker.
Looked good.
He's a dog.
He is.
I should just remember that he's playing against his old team.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. Graham suspended, though.
Yes.
Through some questionable decision-making.
Oh.
And that's putting it lightly. Clay Hall.
Wow.
West Coast back within 4 points. They needed this because this game was looking a little bit gross there from an Eagles fan perspective.
No, you're on top now.
Yeah. Well, I still wouldn't go that far, but it's back to level pegging almost. And I'm going to go to the bathroom.
A big amount of forward half play, though. Who won that clearance just quickly?
Was that Hall to Harley? Yeah. So
No. The one in the forward, because this got to a stoppage.
Oh, yeah.
Good tackle, actually, by Prestia.
Yeah, I'm not sure who ended up with it.
Here we go. Was it Bate?
That will count as Bailey Williams. Yeah.
Williams to Baker to Hall. Yeah. Beautiful.
The new clearance mid.
He could be. Oh, that is very, very good. We have some comments. That was the most frustrating play to end in a goal ever. Yeah, I mean, there's been quite a lot, so I don't know which one you're specifically talking about there, but I would agree with that. Do you see Matt Flynn being a long-term ruck for the Eagles, or do you think you need to look elsewhere? This is probably one for Jesse, obviously, but my opinion with Matt Flynn, I think you probably need to look elsewhere, to be honest. I think he could be sort of a backup ruck that comes in when you've got an injury. You know, potentially could play as a key position if you really needed him, if your depth was tested, but I don't see him as like a first-team starter, really, Matt Flynn. We talked in the pre-game about the possibility of the Eagles going after a player like Ned Moyle from the Gold Coast. I feel like that'd be a really good option for them. There are a few in free agency that they could look out from other teams that are playing second fiddle. Like you could look at someone like a Jordan Sweet, Ivan Soldo. Are they an upgrade on someone like a Matt Flynn? Potentially not much, so it's hard to see what you gain from that. So I think a big sort of upgrade would be someone like a Ned Moyle that would kind of work. Otherwise, you go to the draft. I've talked about it in a few videos. You've got Cooper Duff-Tytler if you wanted to use pick 1 or pick 2, and then you're looking at somebody probably like a Zach Harding from the Murray Bush Rangers, who's probably one of the better rucks in the main pool, and you could get him with like a later pick, maybe 40s, 50s, something like that as well. So a few options for West Coast. It kind of just depends. I feel like the priority with rucks, if you can get somebody that's a good solid ruckman, a good solid AFL ruckman, if you can get someone, I feel like that's Ned Moyle, who has a little bit of upside to him as well, and he's a little bit older. He's had a few years of development. That's probably the ideal way to go. But also Cooper Duff-Tytler, he's got different levels to his game. So there's quite a bit in that one. I think it's a really difficult decision for West Coast. I feel like they have to get this off-season right, and it'll be super important, particularly what they do with the ruck. I was just talking there, Jesse, about Matt Flynn.
Yep, I heard most of it.
Yeah. So what do you think he is good enough? We sort of spoke about it pre-game. Is he good enough to lead the line?
It's just... He's nudging 50 games. So using the Harry Edwards example,
yep,
I've got a little bit more patience. I don't think he'll ever be a top line or a premiership ruckman.
Give me a ruckman that has played in the AFL in recent times that you think he could be at the level of. Best case.
Bailey Williams. Well, Shanahan's lining up to put us in front. I will put some thought into that.
No.
Just faded late. Damn. You mean like best case scenario?
Yeah, I suppose.
You mean what could he develop into?
Yeah, what could he develop into? Yeah. Like, is he? Could he get to Nankervis?
Nah, I don't think so. To be honest, he'd probably be like a weaker version of Lysette. And Lysette was a good ruck for in his prime. Like, he actually was a good player.
Yeah.
Not an elite player by any stretch of the imagination, but a premiership ruck nonetheless. Still decent. I'd say I'd be surprised if Flynn gets to that level. So, look, he's a stopgap option. I'm sure that was what he was recruited for, really.
Yeah.
Or at least, just a medium-term fix. Plucking these rucks, we're going to have to try and get one from another club that's willing to move. And sometimes that does bring success. I mean, Tom Hickey had a good few years for us, right before we fell off a cliff.
I mean, I think North's probably a good example in the sense that we took Tristan Sherry, a pick 70.
Yes.
He is, as much as we've talked about who's the All-Australian ruckman and all of those sorts of things, but Tristan Sherry's as good as a top-line ruck in the competition, right?
Yeah. He's up there.
In a way, he's a different sort to those more transitional ruckmen like Jackson or TDK, but he's, as far as just giving you pure clearance dominance, there's probably no one better.
Yeah, specifically in the way that he plays, yes.
Yeah.
Obviously, still Max Gawn is the best ruck in the comp for me, but I know what you're saying. Yeah, they're not at all similar really in the way they ruck.
I feel like you've got, and this is probably a bit reductionist, but you've kind of got two main groups of ruckmen now. You've got the Tristan Sherry, sort of big mass of a body, or you've got that more transitional athletic guy.
Yes.
That sort of probably overall loses hit outs, but gives you a lot more in offense and ball movement and stuff like that. And that's kind of pick a lane.
Yeah.
But you're obviously like that transitional ruckman, you'll pay more for them. So then what does that do? You lose another player. You lose another on-field player to take him.
Absolutely. West Coast getting a bit of momentum back here. A couple of repeat entries. Shanahan. Next goal would be big. If West Coast somehow Bailey flies, can't bring it down. West Coast go to this game in halftime in front. A breather sigh of relief.
Big last 2 minutes.
It doesn't feel like they deserve to be. Maybe I'm being too negative. I suppose over the course of the game, it's fairly even.
I think you're being a little bit negative because I feel like you've owned territory in this game.
Yeah, you're probably right. I'd say it's pretty even.
You're spot on about the forward entries and stuff. That's true, but you're not struggling in the game.
Yeah, but late Simpson era, we would be strangely clinical with our inside 50s, but get 30.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So the fact that we're getting supply is something.
I sort of think those sort of stats show a good coach.
I think McQualter is a really good coach, to be honest. I certainly don't think there's a coach in the league who has less to play with than McQualter. And I think to show strides and a team adapting to a game plan and being fairly consistent, to be honest, to West Coast. They don't play out full games, but for a young team, they're actually okay.
Right here, right now, you have the worst list.
Yes. Yeah. No argument there.
That doesn't mean that it's not malleable, and it can you've got some pieces there, I reckon, but it is the worst.
Well, the beautiful thing about sport, and particularly our game, is that it's all just a moment in time. Who has the worst list 2 years ago is completely irrelevant now. It was probably still West Coast, but you know what I mean. You're always in a position to improve and move up. It's simply just where you are in the cycle, in theory.
Sure.
Some teams never really move up, but I prefer to think that we are not going to be that. As JD Eagles drops another $8.
JD.
Thank you, JD. Well done.
Thanks, mate. Enjoying the live stream, he says.
Should have put that money on Richmond.
Baker.
Thank you, JD. Really appreciate you. And everyone part of the stream tonight.
Absolutely love it. We've got 57 in the chat at the moment. I feel
Marek.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's a coach killer, that.
Oh.
That's another possible...
He's missed that.
No,
he hasn't.
That's the second goal from just painful mistake. That's the most deflating goal of the game so far. That was putrid from Ryan Marek. Who is better than that?
Yeah, it's the lateral. It was even a reverse lateral kick, wasn't it?
Off the instep, I reckon.
Yep,
yeah,
exactly.
Oh.
I'll tell you what. I'll say one thing. Jonty Fall, he's a beast of a man. 18, 19 years old. Just took on Harley then, and
true. Yeah.
Watch this. Watch this contest.
Yeah. Yep. Wins the footy.
He's so competitive.
Great goal.
Nice finish from Hopper as well. Yeah. Gee, that hurts you guys. I feel like you were pushing for the next.
Yeah.
Oh.
Richmond's just had the answers so far.
They have.
50 seconds, can we... Well, I'm actually more worried about conceding one than I am hopeful for us kicking one.
It's this game's got vibes of the North Eagles game where you dominated us.
Yeah.
But it looked like we could score more freely.
Yes, that's true. I was more confident in that game than I am at this one, though.
Really?
Throughout that game, when we were kicking like 113, I was confident, and then I got nervous when we got in front by 18. But
okay, like just the way you were playing.
Yeah.
Not the would you actually? That's a good question. Against Richmond or North, who are you more scared to play?
Ooh.
See, I thought that the answer would have been you'd be more scared to play us.
I think North is clearly the better team.
Okay.
We lost both games in narrow fashion.
To these,
so we controlled probably the North game longer than we have controlled any of the Richmond games that we've played so far. The Richmond games, for the most part, have gone like ping pong. But I would still say North is better. But Richmond's system and the way they play as a team is probably the part that gets us. We haven't beaten either team this year, so...
both close games.
Close. I do think North's better. They're more talented. But Richmond do have the superior mature bodies than North.
Like the Tarantos and
Yeah. I mean, I'm not necessarily saying any of them are like A grade.
No,
just the sheer volume of decent players.
I feel like overall their list it's not necessarily more talented, but I think the way that they can sort of groom those younger players around the Tarantos, they've got better. Like we've got terrible leaders, I feel.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that I underrated most about Richmond going into this season with my prediction was when you look at their best 22, it's actually got a pretty good balance for a team that is clearly rebuilding.
Yeah, exactly. You look at those names like Hopper and Taranto and you kind of go, they're sort of average midfielders. But they're still kind of and they're in the prime of their career.
Yes, exactly. And you put them against Harley in his second season, Elijah in his third, they've probably played... I think McQualter said Harley's played 30 games as a midfielder. Hewitt's played like 15 as a midfielder. Hoff's played 10 as a midfielder. Clay Hall's played 5 as a midfielder. Yeah. So when you put that against some mature bodies, particularly Port Adelaide last week, but including Richmond, we get torn apart, to be honest.
It's nasty. And even I feel like even when you have domination, like tonight you probably have had a bit of domination around the ball. But
what are the stats actually?
Have a bit of a look, but I feel like you have...
We're plus 2 clearances.
Plus 2 clearances. What's inside 50s? I reckon you still be up there.
Yeah. 26 to 21.
26 to 21. So like a bit of field position and stuff like that. So you're sort of beating them, but you don't have that at the moment. Like even Harley, who I think Harley's a good kick, but he's like, I don't know, he's not kind of making the decisions.
Yeah. You know what? Harley's like... And I think Elijah is a little bit like this to a lesser extent. I think Tim Kelly is another Eagles example of this, is like high risk, high reward, but with their kicks. So they can flush
bit of Hollywood
really
ball.
Nice Hollywood ball, exactly. But they can also shank it in the same way that Marek just did. I wouldn't say Marek is that kind of player, but I think Harley is a prodigious field kick when he gets it right, and then terrible when he misses the mark. So
having said all this, I feel like that West Coast midfield of Harley Reid, Elijah Hewitt, if Brady Hoff became that defensive that really good defensive midfielder, if he can become that, it wouldn't be crazy. And this relies on Harley staying and Hewitt, not being super injury prone like he has been, but that could be one of the best midfields in the competition in 3-4 years.
Oh, you're making me blush. I know what you mean. It's the top hand talent is good. It just needs some extra layers, but it needs them desperately.
Yes,
as well. This is the argument for Dyson Sharp, who sort of adds something to what we don't have. That sort of meat and potatoes, consistent ball winner.
I feel like the issue with that though is he's still only 18.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you're kind of, I don't know. I feel like that's a much more smart decision to go after that type of player and try and get him for pick 30 or 40.
Yeah. I'm with you. I was more sort of playing devil's advocate.
I know what you mean. And I do understand that. You're saying that it's like Dyson Sharp is he's a leader. He's a ready-made player. So he comes in and whereas if you take that kind of high upside player, are they really even going to get developed in this current sort of build?
Yeah.
But you're sort of, in some ways, I feel like that argument, it's relying on like, Dyson Sharp's going to look after Harley Reid. You know what I mean? It's like, he's like little brother. Like, this is how you do it, mate. Like, it's.
I suppose it's more like just protection at stoppage and, you know, I don't know, someone to feed Harley
less
the ball
of a
would
father
be nice.
figure role that Dyson will have to play.
Yeah, if you can really mentor Harley, that would be great. I just meant more freeing Harley up to get some outside ball, which is where I think he does his best work. When he's fit, I don't think his body's right.
100%. We're going to do some rising star conversation in a minute. I've just got a couple of comments. A lot of people talking about Marich, not really liking that at all.
It was a horrific kick. I love Marich. I'll just say I love Marich, but that was terrible.
I think he's good, yeah. I think like his size and his kicking is a double threat for sure.
Lovable character too, also.
Is he?
I think he's a really sweet kid, yes.
Yeah, right.
I can say that because I'm so much older than him.
Yeah, he's a good kid, yeah. Kai says the problem with the take it out of the ruckman, they struggle with actually getting quality clearances. Usually it's a lot of pressure kick. Yeah, 100%. It relies, if they're going to take it out of the ruck, you really want them to use their hands. That sounded sexual, but you know what I mean.
I didn't think it was sexual until you said it. Now it's all I can think about.
All righty, Carlton are so shit. I don't know if I'm that keen on Dewar at halfback. Anything on that?
Dewar is another one. There's a little bit high risk, high reward. Like his actual technical skill of kicking the footy is good.
Decisions.
It's
variable.
Decisions, but also just like sometimes he's a bit loopy as well. He's not quite as like the ball velocity of his kicks. You know, it's not even close to someone like a Liam Ryan, who is actually probably our best user inside 50.
I have a big thing about this when people talk about, I don't know, I feel like when people talk about kickers, sometimes they talk, like there's that conversation, it's like the technical ability and then there's the result.
Yeah.
So I
Duggan's a good example of that. Technically not a terrible kick, but result
poor.
Very poor.
And then there's so really what you want in a perfect world, you want both, right? Mm-hmm. You want good technical ability so that they can hit like all these different variety of kicks. And then you want the decision making and all of that built in. So like that's the perfect world. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of players that don't have one or the other. And I think it's like getting the balance of that right, which is kind of, I mean, yeah, like Nick Dacos, right? Yeah. That's what you want, Bontempelli.
Yeah. I think this was making it West Coast centric, but I think Shuey was very underrated for that.
As in result?
Ball use and technical proficiency.
Oh, okay.
One of the best midfielders by foot I've seen at West Coast.
Yeah, right. That's not the first thing I think about with Shuey.
He's explosive. I reckon if you watch a good highlights package, or even if you watch like a Josh Kennedy highlights package, you'd be amazed how many times it's Shuey kicking it and the ball never leaves like that height. If
someone said like summarise Luke Shuey as a player, I would probably go like Lockie Neal with a bit more bite.
He is nowhere near as good at winning the ball as Lockie.
Okay.
He's a lot more explosive than Lockie.
Yeah.
And he was an elite ball user for a midfielder, I would
say.
By foot, yes.
Okay.
But he would often get like tagged out of games. Like Lockie Neal, a quiet game for him is 25.
Shuey could have really low games.
Shuey could probably average 25.
Yeah, okay.
And be games where he'd get like 13. That would happen occasionally. But in terms of hurt factor, he was right up there, I reckon.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, not exactly what... He sort of falls for me, Shuey, into that category of where I have a bit of a black hole with football, where I was like overseas and I didn't watch consistently.
Yeah.
And he's a big one in that sort of period, so I don't know him as well.
Yeah, fair enough.
Rising star.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
This is one of the more open races, I reckon.
It is.
At least in my opinion.
It's always hard because you don't know, you forget how open some of the other ones were as well.
Yeah.
They feel like they were slam dunks. Like I went back through and had a look at 2021, 2022, 2023 and 2024. Jackson, Dacos, Sheasel and Dempsey. Although, is it fair to say that Harley Reid would have won the Rising Star if not for suspension?
I think so, but Sam Darcy also was suspended as well, if I remember that correctly.
He was too.
Yeah, was that? So there was a couple there that could have made it. And now when you see the evolution of Sam Darcy now, I'm willing to, without remembering the season that Darcy had last year, I'm willing to concede he might have actually won it. But
yeah, I feel like, he did come of age that year, but I feel like Harley was pretty bloody good in his first year.
He would have been a deserving winner, but so was Dempsey.
Yes.
Great player. And he's backed that up again with the potentially All-Australian season. So, fair play.
So, let's go through some of these potential... We can have a look at the odds and stuff like that. But the first one I want to touch on, probably the outright favourite at the moment. We're talking Levi Ashcroft, Brisbane Lions, 6.92 ranking points per game. He's rated 112th for midfielders. So that doesn't sound great, 112th, but it is midfielders overall, so there's obviously a lot more of them, a bit more competition. He's sort of playing role-wise a wing. He doesn't get too many centre bounce attendances.
I was going to say that, which would hurt his ranking.
Exactly, because it does hurt that contested side of the game,
and
which then... Exactly. So 17 games for the season, 20 disposals per game, 29% of those are contested, of the 20 disposals, so... Quick maths, what's 29%? Something like 7 around that mark.
Out of how many? 20?
20, yeah.
Yeah, let's call it 7.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
1.9 clearances, 0.5 goals. That's probably the most impressive part for me with Ashcroft. It's a 0.5 goals. That's pretty good.
Was that something he demonstrated as a junior?
Yeah,
I think it was.
It was. I always found his goal kicking difficult to quantify at juniors because it was like, I always thought, is he going to be able to do that? Replicate that at AFL level. Sometimes he'd sort of push forward and he'd get in contests and he drew a lot of free kicks. So his movement worried opposition players and they'd give a lot of free kicks and then you're like, is he going to get those at AFL level? He seems to be able to do it, whether it's like stoppage sort of goals. He seems to just find space. He finds the footy so easily, this guy. And he makes pretty good decisions. I feel like he's almost like a perfect player for Brisbane where they're at, that high-end team. He slots straight in. He's ready to go. And they like that slower ball movement. They kind of, chip mark, kind of move the ball around. He sort of suits that for me. He's not a really direct player.
Yeah. I was going to suggest, do you think for the Rising Star, we should really factor in who they play for and how that impacts their numbers? Because he's, amongst the Rising Star eligible players, he is second of those who have played more than 2 games for score involvement average, I think.
Yep.
So, yeah, a high score involvement player, but would he be that at even, let's not even say West Coast, let's say the Fremantle Dockers?
Yeah, exactly.
The opportunities are just not quite there. You could say more competition as well, though.
It's so true. I mean, even just dumping a kick inside that Brisbane forward line with, Morris, Hipwood as your keys, and then you've got Bailey, Rayner,
Cameron,
McCluggage arriving, like this sort of players. So, like, you're going to get more score on the board. They're a high-scoring team. Big offenses are going to help that out. I do agree with you. I feel like Ashcroft's been okay. For me, like watching him throughout the season, like he hasn't kind of blown me away. I sort of expected that he would come in and be able to do this. Probably the more impressive thing that he's been able to hold his place in the team.
That's true.
In a really good team. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And I think that's maybe in all of this, that's almost like the biggest accomplishment of it all.
A little bit death by 1,000 cuts to some extent as well, just that consistency. I was thinking like watching Ashcroft last night. He had Will, his older brother, who had a good game. And I'm going to draw that comparison lazily because they're brothers. But I was thinking this guy does all the bread and butter stuff, nothing spectacular, but then he steps up in the clutch moment and then doesn't make mistakes.
That's the thing that you can't knock them for. The fact that you do go a bit, it's a bit sort of like high volume accumulation type stuff, but they do make... I think sometimes, like watching Ashcroft across his juniors as well, he could be a bit safe with the ball. Like to be fair, like he sort of likes to keep the ball in motion, just giving it to teammates, but he doesn't make any mistakes, and they will hurt you. And he kicked 2 goals last night. Exactly.
So it's like I can kind of forgive the low impact per possession, perhaps, when he gets the opportunity to do something and he takes it. And I know we're talking about Levi, but Will's goal like on the siren last night was fantastic.
That was obscene.
Yeah,
obscene. And like they're pretty similar players.
Yeah. I shouldn't be making that comparison, but I think that is something they have in common. Is my point. Yeah,
they are pretty similar players. I think Will's probably a little bit more of like at this point, like a bit more of an inside player. Levi a little bit more on the outside, but he's right up there. I just wanted to do one comparison and give us like a reference to go back on here. So he's averaging 6.92 champion data ranking points. Say what you will about those. Some of the previous winners, Jackson averaged 9.95, Dacos averaged 9.87, Sheezer was 10.24, and Ollie Dempsey 9.82. So he is a little bit below that, but then you've got to factor in the fact that he's playing on a wing, more of those like auxiliary positions as opposed to like an inside mid and even at halfback where you can probably even have more volume. So it's a tough one.
That's a good point. It is probably being hamstrung by, as much as I said, it helps to some extent he's playing in a good team, that lower opportunity to prove himself, at the coalface or whatever, is also something that might hurt his numbers. I would also say that, having said that, I think that the players you mentioned there, like Luke Jackson and Nick Dacos, had superior winning seasons, even probably an Ollie Dempsey from the eye test. Would you agree with that?
All stepping into good teams.
Yes. Yeah, that's true.
So that would tell you that apart from Sheasel the outlier there.
Yeah, true.
I just think Sheasel was almost like he was too good.
Yeah.
You just had to give it to him, right?
Yeah.
Almost like too much volume. But it's an interesting one. Do you want to sort of rank it at the end, or do you want to go after each player?
I reckon we do it as we go. If we say that, Levi's the favourite.
Where do you have him?
I think he's the favourite, but I don't know if it's my prediction. Well, what are we doing? Are we saying who should win it?
Who you think, I reckon?
I can't believe I'm saying this, and I reckon if he sat next to me, I wouldn't be admitting this, but I'm kind of a little bit more sold on Murphy Reid than I was the last time we had a little flutter about this conversation.
Really?
Maybe not. I'm not going to say, look, he should win, because there's Daniel Curtin as well, who we'll talk about, but I think Murphy Reid's season has been very impressive. I think I read that he might be the first player to get 25 goals and 25 goal assists in his debut season in the same year. He's not at those numbers yet, but he's on track based on averages.
Yep.
He's, out of all those players that are rising star eligible, he is number 1 for score involvement. So I said that Levi was number 2 and Murphy's in an inferior team and higher for a team that I reckon wouldn't score as much as Brisbane off the top of my head. I think that I was watching him the other day, and when he gets the ball in the forward 50, as a guy who barracks against Fremantle in a lot of neutral games, every time he gets the ball inside 50, I'm like, oh no. And when he's got me feeling like that, then you know you've got a player in your hands.
That's a bad sign, isn't it? Yeah. He's been, of that draft crop, of all of the guys that have come in and done really well, he's probably surprised me the most. Just how fluently he's gone to another state, which there was a lot of talk about how he didn't want to necessarily be in WA as well.
Yeah.
He's just so creative.
I think his role is easier. So having said that, I've kind of talked myself out of saying he should win it. I think,
when you say his role is easy, compared to who?
Levi.
Compared to Levi?
For a start.
Okay.
Maybe even a Dan Curtin, who is older, to be fair.
Yep.
But I think playing as that sort of fluid, unaccountable forward, sure, that's an easy role. However, he also does a lot of shit that other people can't. And I would like to acknowledge that. I think he is so damaging per possession. He might have an 8-possession game, but still kick a goal and have a couple of score involvements that were like quite quality. So probably not enough to win it. But I do, over time, I've come around to this idea that Murphy should go close.
There's a lot of right place, right time for me about Murphy Reid. Yeah. Like going to a team in Freo who are good but not great. Mm-hmm. I think that's a fair assessment of Fremantle.
Yeah.
Lacking small forwards. Lacking that positional flexibility that he has to be able to that gave him the opportunity to be able to bed into the team and stay there.
Yeah.
And then his quality has obviously taken him. So, I mean, we're talking about the rising star options here. So it's not as if we're saying that he's had a bad season if we don't rank him as number 1.
Yeah.
I would have, we talked about Ashcroft off the top. I would have Ashcroft just ahead of Reid.
Yes.
At the moment.
That's fair. Look,
I'm not giving you a number there. I'm just saying Ashcroft I would have ahead of Reid.
I do think actually playing on a wing, and I'm sort of thinking as I'm talking here, but I think playing on a wing can be quite difficult. It's not an easy role to win the footy. Like you can do your role perfectly and have six touches as a wingman sometimes because if you're just keeping your width. So the fact that Ashcroft is finding the footy, look, he probably deserves a higher rank in the Murphy, but he's had a great first season, Murphy Reid. Well, should we talk about Daniel Curtin? Because this guy has crept up on us and he's now the second favourite just behind Levi. So when I wrote down the odds, it was $3.25 Ashcroft, $3.50 Dan Curtin, who has played 17 games this year. Have you been as impressed with Dan Curtin?
I think Dan Curtin's last, I don't know, hard to put an exact number on it, but I think his last 6 weeks have been at a higher level than any of the guys on this list. I think the slow start could hurt him in the overall rankings, but we're talking about a guy here, 10.1 rating points per game. Okay. So he's, right up in that top echelon. He's ahead of both of them. He's played 17 games. As I said, slow start. Only the 13 disposals, but 45% contested possession. And the big stat for me, 1.3 contested marks. Like
second year tall, that's good.
that is absolutely massive, and it's not as a key forward. So he's roaming basically. He's going into that half back line, being an outlet for them, taking marks on the logos and that sort of stuff, and then drifting forward. 0.5 goals per game off a wing is pretty good, and then 3.8 scoring involvement's not exactly on the same level as Murphy Reid.
That's still quite high, 3.8. I reckon if you're averaging about 4 a game,
Yeah.
you're going pretty well.
Again, off a wing, so like we talk about the role, and Murphy Reid is playing that closer to goal role.
Yeah.
Which puts him above Ashcroft and Dan Curtin as well. But I think, is it fair to say that Dan Curtin is a big piece in this push for Adelaide as well? The fact that they've come up the ladder, I think you can put a bit of that down to what they've got out of him.
Possibly. I mean, they've got a lot of quality players. It really is a whole team effort, I think. Dan's a funny one. Like, obviously, West Coast were part of that conversation about, do we take Dan Curtin or trade the pick for Harley Reid? I think my thing with him was like, he does good shit with the footy, but I just wasn't sure what his position was. But he's one of those players, a little bit like Murphy, actually. It's like, regardless of what his position is, when he does get the footy, he does good things. And that is something he's definitely carried this year, despite not being drafted as a wingman. He's kind of a key defender in a loose sense.
Well, that's what he was drafted as. It's like an intercepting defender.
Yeah.
I think when you've got a talented player, I think clubs and fans get too scared of those bankable position players.
Yeah.
But
there are some negative examples.
Of course there are. Yeah, of course there are. But also,
I
like,
get your point.
Like there are players like Marcus Bontempelli. Of course, you could go the negative as well, but like players like Marcus Bontempelli didn't really have a defined position when drafted as well. So it can go both ways.
Yeah.
Richmond looking dangerous here. We're back on live.
Hating this. Jinby! Well done.
Oh,
Jonty. Jonty, too good.
Oh,
Richmond
dear.
with a important first goal, I reckon. That's margin back out to 15 points.
Very important. So, from those three, I think they are the big three. Like, I wanted to mention Archie Roberts, who's had a pretty incredible season, really, off halfback, 7.79 rating points. He's the 67th ranked general defender as a sort of halfback distributor, 23 disposals, 3.2 score involvement's pretty good off a halfback flank as well. I don't have him in that top group. I wouldn't have him in the Curtin, Ashcroft and Murphy Reid discussion, just a little bit back. But I think like acknowledging his season is definitely something that we should do. And the other one for me was Harvey Langford.
Yes. Sorry, I thought we were talking about Harvey Langford. Who are you talking about?
Oh, sorry. I was talking about
Archie Roberts. Yes, sorry, yes. Yeah, my bad. I was kind of distracted by Richmond's goal. I would agree with that assessment. I think that Harvey Langford is the fourth possibility to win. I really don't know. Do you reckon it's come out of that first three we talked about?
I think so.
Murphy, Ashcroft, and
I think it'd be one of those guys.
Yeah. It does seem late in the piece to really make a move. Touch wood, I mean, someone could get injured and ruin their chances. It's just enough time for that to happen, but fingers crossed nobody does.
I think Harvey Langford looks like an absolute beast, but there is probably a discussion to have, and you could make the argument that Harvey Langford going to a worse team and how good he's looked and how much like he sort of looks like he's giving this team like a bit of like regeneration, I think is big for him. But he's getting like, compared to the others, he's getting the most amount of like centre bounces. So he's kind of being given that opportunity being in a lower team as well. I think that's got to be factored in. 343
metres gained, which interestingly, I think that's a solid average for a player of his style. Harley. Oh, I thought Harley kicked it. I was about to lose my shit.
He thought he had.
Yeah. That would have been a goal of the year contender if Harley kicked that.
Far out.
The only player who is Rising Star eligible that has more metres gained per game than Harvey Langford is Tyrell Dewar.
Is it really?
Yeah, I thought that was a fun fact because Tyrell's definitely not a chance to win.
Put him in the mix. Yeah. Put him in. No, you would expect, to be honest, like positionally, you would expect it to be probably Archie Roberts. Off a half-back flank.
That's true.
Given the amount of ball that he's getting back there.
Yeah.
But one thing I noticed with Archie, like his kick retention rate and his kick threat are pretty low.
Yeah.
So he doesn't bite off that difficult of kicks. Partly that's Essendon's game style. So again, the way teams play like factors into this. But yeah, he's not making aggressive kicks. And when he takes the safer kicks, he misses a few as well. So I think you probably have to mark him down for that. For me, to put a line under it as far as the rising star, I think Dan Curtin.
You think he's the winner?
I think Dan Curtin is the winner, followed by Levi Ashcroft.
Yeah.
Then Murphy Reid in third.
That's a tough one. I'm trying to make a strong argument either way.
So you feel like, to me, you feel like you're leaning Murphy Reid?
No, it was actually more Ashcroft is the biggest threat.
Okay.
I think. But then I'm separating like opinion versus prediction.
While Jesse does that, get in the comments, guys.
Yeah, let us know.
Who do you think should win the Rising Star? I know Bombers fans are keen on Roberts. I don't think he's quite there. Ashcroft, Curtin, Reid.
He's not a winner of the award. I don't think he's a realistic winner. Who else did I have? I did put Caddy and O'Sullivan here just as people to talk about. But again, Caddy's just paying $16 odds. I'm not even sure about O'Sullivan. But a couple of players that have had really good seasons. But I think the next most likely to win the award by odds was Clay Hall after that.
Really?
Yeah, it was like $101 though.
Jeez.
So the Sportsbet said there's like 7 contenders.
Yeah.
Exactly. We've just named them all.
I mean, Finn O'Sullivan, I've been wrapped with his progress.
Liam Ryan has kicked the goal of the night. That was outstanding. That's probably
didn't.
That's probably the best West Coast goal this year, to be honest.
I was like, no way. No way that's got over.
On that ball. West Coast needed that to give them a bit of a lift because it has been Richmond.
I want to see this again.
So far.
What a joke.
Oh, the reaction time to get that ball on the boot. I mean, helped by a fortuitous bounce, but far out.
I'm so surprised. Look at Tom Brown. He doesn't even attempt to say he touched it.
Yeah, I think it bounced far over his head.
Okay, I thought it was actually close.
I could be wrong. No.
I mean, it was kind of close.
I mean, he could lie about it, but it wouldn't really have gotten him any far. Oh, I reckon there's a fairly big gap there.
A decent one, yeah.
You'd just be wasting your time with a score review there.
Oh, man.
West Coast needed a bit of a... Well, I was going to say needed a bit of luck to get back in this game, but every time they've gotten this close, Richmond's responded, so...
My issue with watching West Coast is that, like, you're down by 9 points. It's like, can you kick that many more goals than them? That's sort of the...
100%. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I am more pessimistic than I am optimistic at this point, but... One thing I will say, just to throw the devil's advocacy out there, is there a chance that Richmond just drops off and we go harder?
For sure.
That is possible. I think if we can keep the margin close.
I mean, I'm keeping a really open mind in this game.
Yeah.
Oh, Baker.
We are our own worst enemy sometimes. What's happened here?
Against Baker.
Probably helped us, actually.
Broad. Everyone forgets that about Richmond. I think that was probably the biggest mistake a lot of us made in judging Richmond at the start of the year, how good their backline is.
Yes.
And mature and
exactly
safe.
Yeah. Another 50-metre penalty.
God, it ruins a game.
Is that like 4? At least 4.
It's at least 3.
For encroaching. I think it's 4 because there was the 2 that were back-to-back. There was one earlier that I definitely remember, and that's 4.
It doesn't matter what game I'm watching. Like the only team I'm watching, and I enjoy that to happen, is when North are playing. I'm like, 3 goals. Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
But like anyone else, I think it's bullshit and it ruins the game.
I think 3 out of the 4 have been against us, which is frustrating.
It was only that second one
that
you got.
Yeah, exactly. It is annoying. I do kind of broadly, though, understand, like, they're trying to discourage... What's the goal? Discourage that behaviour. And if they keep awarding the penalty, players will stop doing it. And if you stop penalising it, people will take the piss. I get that.
So what are West Coast doing? I haven't been noticing it close enough. Like exactly what are they trying to do something to take the piss a little bit?
I have no idea, to be honest.
Well, he's just not standing the mark, is he?
Yeah, I mean, really, is that worth a 50-metre penalty? Like, we're not trying to gain any advantage there. He's still entitled to kick over the mark.
Yeah.
That's silly.
So have they just gone no one standing the mark? Is that the penalty?
It shouldn't be, but possibly. I don't know. It's a mess.
Reduce the 50-metre penalty to a 25-metre penalty because they pay too many, says JD Eagles.
Do you reckon we could have a system where the umpire decides whether it's 25 or 50? So, like, encroaching the mark like that, it's 25.
25.
But then there are some things where you're like, nah, screw them, that's 50.
I think that territory is too important now that, like, I do agree that, like, 50 is kind of too much because it does depend, though. It actually does depend. Because I reckon when a team's on a fast counter attack, and if there's a professional free, that should be 50.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
yeah.
See, like I said before, there's things that they need to be hotter on.
Yeah,
and not pay 50. They don't pay 50. There's one that leads up to Liam Ryan's mark when Dom Shee kicked the goal against Collingwood. that nobody talks about, but it pissed me off every time. Liam Ryan flies up. He's the one who kicks it to Dom Shee, but he flies up and takes a grab, and then the ball lands on the ground. But Tom Langdon, who's the Collingwood player, grabs the ball and tucks it under so that Liam Ryan can't pick up the ball and kick the ball quickly.
Right.
So I'm like, I know it's the last couple of minutes of a grand final. It probably wouldn't happen, but I think textbook, that's a 50-metre penalty.
Dom Sheed's kicking the goal and Jesse's in the stands like, hey, like, we should have had a better entry.
Well, Collingwood fans will say he was blocked, so it kind of evens out, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But it was just more of an example of something that probably they should be hotter on.
No, I totally agree. I hate when a team is trying to counter-attack and they're grabbed, like a jumper grab.
Yes.
And the umpire just goes like, yeah, it's fine. And then everyone rushes back. Or just that sort of like, someone sitting over someone and they just don't let the ball, you know what I mean? Like that kind of not letting the ball out.
There was a funny one a couple of weeks ago. When I was in Perth, I went to Eagles GWS. Worst game ever, by the way. Actually, no, as an Eagles fan, it's not even in the top 10. But
it was a good one, actually. Good performance.
Yeah. Toby Green, I can't remember if it's all in the same play. He gives away a free kick on Harley. Yeah. And then I can't remember if this is the same contest where he punched him on the way down.
Oh, that's right. This is like the Toby Green game.
Yes, Toby Green against Harley.
But he was having a scrap with Tom as well.
Yes, but I can't remember if it's all in the same play. But Tom Green then gives the ball to Harley, but he pelts it really hard at Harley's crotch.
Yeah.
And it's like Harley Reid caught it, so it wasn't 50. But if Harley Reid drops that, that's probably 50 metres.
Yeah.
Which is a bit of a quirk.
100%. That whole play where Toby kind of like gives it to him on the ground as well.
Yeah.
Like there's a 50 there.
Yeah.
Oh, Jonty.
Oh, yeah, man in front.
He's a good player, man. Jonty Fall.
Yeah.
I think of all of the key forwards in this draft, he could be the best one.
Yeah, okay. I'm more of a Shanahan man.
More of a Shanahan.
I'm just kidding.
Great pickup for you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, there's quite a few evenly rated talls. It'll be interesting to see how they blossom over the stretch.
For sure. Harry Armstrong.
Was Fall the first tall?
He was after Tyroo.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. First key forward then.
Yeah. I feel like Tyroo was more taken as a...
That might be enough.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Richmond fully in control of this game.
Yeah. It's looking difficult to see how you'd put that much scoreboard on them.
Yeah. Oh, they've just been better. Credit where it's due. I think they've been the better team.
Yeah.
We're not playing particularly badly.
No.
We're just kind of against our average. This is about right. I wish we'd played better. Like when we beat St Kilda, we played far better than we thought we were capable of.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping that would happen tonight.
Is there an element where your game plan, it's more successful against better teams staying in the game, and then when you play a Richmond who's probably more on your level quality-wise, it's maybe not the best way to play?
I'm not sure, because we can only compare it to be what it would be like if West Coast didn't play this style. And if we tried to get by on our pure football ability, I reckon we'd be found even more wanting. So I think a defence-first mindset, as Baker is now at the centre bounce, is probably our best bet regardless of who we play against.
Like, I know he's a ruckman, but fuck me.
No, you're right. There's no excuse for... Is that a free kick to Richmond? I'm going to pee now.
Go for it. I mean, was Flynn?
Yeah. It was.
Yeah, like just had so much time and space there. That's where, I mean, you'd like a more highly skilled ruckman in that scenario for sure. A lot of comments that I haven't got to here. Vortex says they kill us on the rebounds and we mess up all our opportunities. Yeah, I mean that's how it's felt for me watching as a neutral. Like West Coast, it's difficult. It's down in the trenches. It's a slog when they go inside forward 50, and then Richmond just easily move the ball from the back half to the front half. Almost like they've kicked a few walking goals, it feels like. Here they go again. This would be another back half goal. We've got players like all over the show. Good tackle. Good tackle from Tom Cole. I mean, they should have kicked an easy goal there as well. I don't like the stand rule anymore and 10-metre protection rule. Yeah, it's a difficult one. Like I see benefits of the stand rule with the fact that it does open up the game a little bit more with the Jonty Fall. Edwards is back there goalkeeping, but yeah, it does, like, it helps outside players, it helps those kickers and stuff like that. But it's frustrating with all the free kicks, that's for sure. The AFL really need the umps to focus on consistency year to year and not game to game. It's the one thing I miss from pre-season cup. Allow the time to test the rules and interpretations. But yeah, probably a good call, actually. Never really thought about it like that, but the umpires would have had that sort of proper... Like, we still have a couple of pre-season games, but it doesn't feel like the fans are really engaged in those like they used to be with the pre-season cup. It did actually kind of... On some level, back in the early 2000s, it felt like if you won the pre-season cup, like the Ansett Cup or the Wizard Cup or whatever it was, it kind of felt like it was like a little mini trophy that you could win. And I think when the fans are engaged in that, you sort of get to see it and see how it played out, and there'd be discourse and stuff around it. So that's a good call, actually. Very good call. Hayes shade again to rant here for the last 3 years. I agree with Jake. The week-to-week focus of umpiring calls has made the game upsettingly inconsistent from both the player and spectator. Yeah. Again, another good... Have Richmond kicked another goal here? Oh, no. Tyler Sonsi on the goal line. Jesse, it's getting out of hand.
I'm going to go back.
Oh, no. You got Tyler Sonsi kicking goals now. Oh dear.
Got a beer while I'm up?
Yeah. Why not? They are kind of looking like Man City again. I don't know, like when they transition the ball, they've just got runners everywhere.
I don't want to hear it again.
Sorry. I mean, this would be like to put the glove on the other hand or the shoe on the other foot. If you're a Richmond fan, like you'd be stoked with this performance away from home.
They've been very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
They've been in control. They've withstood West Coast when we've had dominance. We got a few goals, obviously, but they've withstood us when we've had our moments. Mind you, we've also been our worst enemy, but they've been clinical when they've had their chances, and now they're putting some distance. There's a clear better team in this game.
Oh, I feel like you guys...
Petricelli's on. Was he always on? I thought he was the sub.
I hope he was the sub because he hasn't
touched the he's touched the ball.
Yeah. That's a nice little ball from him, though.
That was nice, yeah. Look, Petricelli's such a tease of a player. He can play really well. He's not one of those players where you're like, oh, what did they see in him? He can have good games, but he just does it so infrequently. And I don't even know why he was picked, to be honest.
He's one of those guys, like this week, you mean?
Yeah, there were much better performers in the waffle. It very much smells of he's out of contract. Let's see what he can do one last time.
Right. As in, if you want to re-sign him or to give him a bit of capital?
Re-sign him. I think no one will take Petch. No disrespect, but I'm aware there's no market for Jack Petricelli, to be honest.
Yeah.
If anyone would need him, it would be us, and I don't think we will.
He's one of those guys. It's like, is he genuinely a bad footballer, or does he sort of just looks? He looks sort of like a 40-year-old guy.
Yeah, I reckon. Had he been drafted to a decent team,
he could have been okay.
He could have been all right, but he required that. And we were a decent team when we first got him, and he kicked a bag of 5 once, and that was quite impressive. He's okay when he's on the ball, but he gets, he'll have 7 possession games more often than not.
Yeah.
But he's that type of player that's not good versus someone who just doesn't have it at all.
You guys are the masters of that, though, aren't you? Like, you have so many players that can drift in and out of games like that. It feels.
Yeah. We certainly don't have one of those, pretty much since post Pritis and I guess Gaff. You don't have that guy that's always getting the same amount of possessions every game.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a bit boom or bust.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm just having a look at the numbers here.
Someone's saying North and Eagles bottom 2 again. Does this put Richmond ahead of North?
Oh, God, I hope not. Just for my...
Yeah, it does.
Oh, it bloody
it
does.
It does.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Well, at least you have the higher draft pick. I'm sorry.
What an incredible symptom of this game that I had absolutely completely blindsided about that. Like, that is so fucked up.
Yeah. North moved down to the bottom 2. Oh. All you had to do was beat Brisbane. Richmond all over West Coast.
Yeah, they're not. This hurts more now.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I'm just dead inside.
He's missed.
No, he's kicked it.
Oh. I keep doing that tonight.
Oh, this could be a flogging at this point.
So
it's not a flogging at the moment, but it could be.
Who's out of your best 22 here? Like Hewitt, clear?
Yeah. Oh, look, I mean, 2 reigning All-Australians from last year have missed. I mean, one of them's retired, so do we count that? McGovern? We had 3 good players going into this year, and they went bang, bang, bang. The footy gods eliminated them all, which I don't think we would have still finished last, but we're also a little bit unlucky in that sense.
What do you like on the conversation around your, I guess, like conditioning and stuff like that, and the injuries? Elliot Yeo, I don't know. Like, it just seems like there's so many good quality, I mean, exceptional players for West Coast that just haven't gone deep into their 30s. But
yeah, so I think you could make the argument historically that travel is a factor there.
You actually okay?
There is a school of thought, and history would show that. With a couple of exceptions, Shannon Hearn, David Mundy, Matthew Pavlich, players don't hit 300.
Yeah, there's always outliers in those conversations.
Yeah. Well, with West Coast specifically, it's hard to say because
it's a great point.
I mean, with McGovern and Yeo this year, and Waterman, all 3 were impact injuries. McGovern was a concussion retirement. Yeo did his knee and his ankle in the same movement, in the same tackle, and Waterman fell awkwardly and it was his shoulder. So that's bad luck. That's not conditioning.
No, like I think in the Sheed conversation, I think he's the one where you go like he's just not playing well enough anyway.
Yeah,
right.
No, he's not. He wouldn't be getting a game.
McGovern, you say, okay, freak.
Yeah.
Concussions like that. Yeah. That's just and he was a gun.
Yeah. So this year those were all in concussion. There has been soft tissue injuries with Yeo and McGovern, to be fair, over the number of years.
Yeah,
absolutely. And Shuey before that.
Well, you've just had availability problems in general for a long time.
Yeah. It was a combination of conditioning, bad luck, and then players coming back in early because we didn't have enough players.
Yeah,
as well. It was a whole mix of things. There's no one single answer for why. We had a lot of freak injuries, like over the couple of years where we had no players. Some examples would be Liam Ryan trying to take a screamer, landing on his neck, and he tore his hamstring off the bone in the same movement. McGovern hamstring off the bone, same game. Harry Edwards walked off the field at training, spoiled the ball over the line and was out for 6 weeks with a wrist fracture. Sheed was in a drill and a shoulder copped his throat and he was out for like a month with the larynx. Like it was a lot of weird shit going on as well.
Yeah, I remember that. I mean, that sort of felt like like combination of bad luck and a curse.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like
it's a bit of everything, I think.
But there is actually there's a relationship there with the games played, which you could actually use as like a data point, right? So, what'd you say? Like only Pavlich, Mundy, and
Hearn. I think they're the only 3 that hit 300.
Yeah, interesting.
I mean, look at Fife's career. Half of it on the sidelines.
Yeah. I feel like some of those examples with players, like I see Nathan Fife as a player who didn't didn't adapt. It's not fair on him, but the game changed, and his skill set almost left him behind a little bit.
We're talking about Fife, sorry?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a hard one to say, though, because I thought that was the case, and then he won a Brownlow again in 2019. And he just hasn't been fit since, I don't think.
Yeah, I'm trying to think back. I didn't see his 2019 season enough, but I've seen enough. I mean, it's like I feel like in the same breath, a player like a Paddy Cripps even is a player that I'd almost slightly put in that same bracket, and he's also won a Brownlow. Like I feel like
2.
And one in a really recent season. Which I feel like that's a little bit of an outlier. Like I feel like did Cripps actually have the best season? Number one, I would say no, but I
don't have a strong opinion on that. Maybe I think the second one he won, he's the reigning Brownlow medalist, isn't he? I think it was a bit of a surprise. Yeah,
He broke the record for the votes.
that's right. Oh yeah, that's right. That was.
I mean,
a bit
I just
crazy.
feel like the Brownlow goes to that type of player a little bit.
It definitely does.
Where the game for several years now has been more, it's been more of a transition game.
Yeah.
And those players have actually been dominating games more so than those types of players. But
I agree, and I do have the same concerns over the Brownlow as you do. That being said, I wonder with Cripps and Fife, I actually think it's just their bodies that have really let them down. The amount of playing through injury that they've done, and that's probably a product of their contested style. And both of them have played as contested beasts since their first and second seasons.
Yeah, it's actually a good point when you talk about the travel too with the Western Australian teams, because in a way, you look at both Sam Walsh and Patrick Cripps, to throw a different player in. Walsh isn't a contested beast type player, but they're both players, Cripps and Walsh, that have had to be a really big a fulcrum of their team, from like the main guy in their team. Yeah, I've got a random word
does
there.
that mean?
Like the main player in their team.
Yeah.
So like it's almost like they've had a lot more punishment than the regular
half crumbs.
half crumb. Yeah, exactly. They got another shot at goal here, Jesse. This is not
Keep
good.
talking to me about other stuff. My dad's messaged me just now saying, "Oh, he has to go."
Yeah, he's terrible. That's a completely different
What a goal
conversation.
too. We are at 40 points. Heads have dropped. Richmond gone up a gear. If anything, it's both happening at the same time.
I feel like you can't lose this by 40. Like, almost for the club, you cannot lose this by a lot.
Yeah, it's particularly deflating.
Oh, you got Camden McIntosh globetrotting, Dion Prestia.
But I mean, I'm not going to give West Coast excuses for this game, but I reckon if you look at who the best performers are on the field, Hopper, Ross, Taranto, Nankervis, Flostru, and Sonzi, Campbell. Oh, sorry, that's just pure fantasy points. Broad. There's one or two young guys in that lot.
For Richmond?
Yeah, and I think that underscores how well Richmond's set up to be competitive, and we are simply not. Which is not an excuse, because I think, well, it may sound like one, but I think West Coast were capable of playing better than they have tonight, and they've already played once this year at the MCG, and it was a very even game. So whatever way you slice it, this is disappointing, but I'd probably be a bit more devastated if it was Smiley, Hot, and etc. in the best.
Yeah, that's painting it with a
just adding something different to the discussion. But if you look, like Nankervis wins the clearance.
No, I think that's
it's a mature
been
team out there.
that's been the flavour of Richmond's season, where people have forgotten about those.
Yeah.
I think they've had across that premiership era too, like and slightly after that as well. But they've had some underrated players like Vlosten and Broad, very good players.
Yeah. There's a maturity to the way they're playing right now.
Oh, yeah.
And West Coast look rattled. I think West Coast have been trying.
No,
I just think they've been completely outclassed, particularly in this second half.
Yeah, you had to have put on a little bit more scoreboard pressure right early on. I do feel in the last few minutes your intensity's dropped away though. Like you came out really hard and you were trying.
Yeah.
Baker's been having a massive crack.
This is Toronto's third potentially. Sorry, continue.
It's so him. This is so him. He's got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fire out. JD says, how were we favourites? I do agree. Obviously, I tipped us, so I won't go back on what I said, but I said at the start of this stream, I was like, I'm not really sure why West Coast are universally backed here. I think it's 50-50.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I was pretty confident that you guys were going to win this game.
That's fair, but I'm talking about odds. The odds should be based on
they shouldn't be
logic
based on my feelings.
Well, anyone's feeling. Like, I had the same feeling West Coast would win, but the odds are usually backed on performance.
What I will say about that though, right? Like the odds heavily, it's hard to win away from home. It's particularly hard to win away in Perth. Melbourne teams don't come over there and win that regularly.
Yeah, well, every team except St Kilda has.
Yeah, exactly. But if you look at,
but yeah, you're right. Yeah,
if you look at Richmond's last 6 weeks, like if I can bring that up somewhere here quickly, like they're in a shit vein of form. Where are they? I'll just bring up their matches.
That's right. Adam Ale says our odds are completely feelings based. He's right because they're a reflection of where the money's going. I get that. So it's a
Yes.
amalgamation of what people think. You're right. So in a literal sense, that's true. But often, I just feel like the odds don't swing as
hard as that.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas it's just hard to make the argument. West Coast should have started favourites in this game.
I said Richmond are in a shit vein of form. They actually won last week against Essendon. I forgot about that. But I mean, Essendon are in the mud, aren't they?
This is one of their best performances of the year because it's not even close.
Totally.
They're killing us.
They kicked 6 goals last week and won.
Exactly. It's complete night and day this week.
They lost the week before, they lost to Geelong by 72. The week before, they lost to Adelaide by 68. The week before that, Western Bulldogs by 79. Sydney by 44. And then they had a pretty good performance back against the Giants 5-6 weeks ago. But
they're also not missing, which is very unhelpful. 14 goals, 6. Oh, boy.
Oh, dear. Meanwhile, in the other game,
let's switch to Carlton.
Just to bring that up, they are...
Yeah, what is the score of that, actually?
It's a good game.
Genuinely interested.
Oh, shit, I've got Richmond. Hang on.
8 goals to 1 in this quarter.
8 goals to 1?
Yep.
Oh, my God.
Carlton
are up by 2 points.
Oh.
What are we at?
4
minutes. Should I just...
We can switch it over if you want. It's okay. For the sake of 2 minutes, it's fine.
I'm not going to... It's only 3 minutes to go.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'll just quickly...
It'll be like 3/4 time we switch back. I think I'm okay with missing 3 or 4 minutes of this game. It's fine.
Where...
Such a bad sport. Nah, but if the other game's close, I'm not talking
I was just for the 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's fine.
If I can find the game. Where is it on my KO?
Barnes says, geez, we've nailed this draft with the talls. 4 looking great. Sims is that athletic pack marker to replace Lynch. Armstrong should be good too. Armstrong's not playing? Is Armstrong playing?
No, he's injured.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Falls had a good night.
Fall's been the most impressive.
Oh. What are your thoughts on West Coast getting a priority pick in theory? That's a comment from Christopher.
Oh, that's a comment from Christopher. What are my thoughts on that?
He said, well, surely we get a priority pick was his comment.
Yeah, I think you should. I think you should get a priority pick. Where should the priority pick be is like the next question.
Yeah, I think that's the key question.
Yeah, what I don't agree is I don't think teams should get like they used to. What pisses me off as a North fan as well, like we got priority picks a couple of years ago and we got 2 picks at the end of the first round, which we had to trade away.
Yeah.
Who we traded away for Zach Fisher and Dylan Stevens.
Yeah.
Cool. But not really the overall point there, but...
Such a long pause on Dylan Stevens.
Yeah. Anyway... people got so upset about that was, ruining the draft and all of this sort of stuff. And it was mostly, it's mostly from teams like Collingwood and Hawthorn and Carlton and all these sorts of fans who back in the middle 2000s got legitimately priority picks at the top of the draft and won premierships off the back of those priority picks. So when they're brought up, I think it's so unfair that certain clubs who have benefited from that get so pissed off about it.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
That's
a great goal from Curnow. That's possibly
that's game.
The game. There's still time, but that's a big goal.
Do you want me to chuck back on?
No, we can. No, please don't. No, I'm kidding. Let's watch a little bit more, and if Carlton kick another one, maybe we'll switch it back.
Oh dear, oh dear. It's 90-38. I mean, that is absolutely terrible.
That is the worst case scenario for West Coast.
R1FTZ says, yeah, but North got pick 2 for Mackay. Yeah, I mean,
that's a response to somebody else who said West Coast are getting pick 2 for Allen, therefore they don't need a priority pick.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I think you should get a priority pick. And for, in my opinion, for Allen, you should get pick 2.
We get band 1.
You get band 1. That's what everybody else has got. I mean, St Kilda got it for battle last year. It just depends. It's just the same as like your ladder position. Exactly. I think they should change that. Yeah? I don't think you should be getting...
Well, I think they should maybe just change not the framework, but the bands, so that if, say, a Mackay or an Allen who people don't think should be offered that amount, maybe just make it okay, from now on the new EBA, it should be 1.3 million players.
Yes.
That protects, say, if West Coast had Chad Warner and he left, that's a different story. Like the worst team in the league losing an amazing player. But you're right in that it does produce weird outcomes at the moment.
The thing that I'm uncomfortable about with that is that West Coast get themselves into a situation where they're actually like, you can go, Oscar, because we're actually going to get something better than you're worth. And I think that's probably wrong.
Sure. It relies on the offer being there, though. This whole thing relies on Brisbane having the offer.
Yeah,
but I get your point.
Absolutely.
Because West Coast are now like, okay, like it's actually favourable.
It's exactly the same with what happened with Ben Mackay.
So with the priority pick, I think there's two conversations that happen. There is a school of thought that there should be no priority picks and therefore West Coast shouldn't get one. And people would have said the same thing last year. But the fact of the matter is it is a rule, okay? It's just so vague. Yeah. It's extremely vague, so there will be some contention around it. And what North received, as you correctly pointed out, over a period of time is far inferior to what clubs were getting for finishing bottom four once. Or it was 4.5 wins was the threshold.
Yeah, it was just a really low threshold, wasn't
Absolutely, yeah. So now that's changed, fair enough. And there's a lot of different factors. They take away the transparency so that people or teams are less likely to tank. So I get that. Yeah. But nonetheless, priority picks exist. And it's hard to make the case that West Coast are not in such a bad hole that they would be not a good candidate to receive a priority pick. Yeah, so my stance on this is that I'm fine. I think West Coast are probably at the point with a 1-win season now and they're 7 goals down against the next worst side going into this game. That they...
I'd argue 9 goals. 53 points.
I'd say 7. Yeah, I mean, that really reinforces my point. But look, the other thing that gets missed, and I think it's always helpful to speak in specifics, what are we talking about? Are we talking about pick 1 at the start of the draft? No.
Yeah.
Well, because I don't think West Coast should receive that yet. But in 3 years, maybe.
People get hyperbolic. They hear priority pick and they're like, no.
Exactly. You know what I think would be a reasonable compromise? West Coast, you can have a few extra list spots and you can sign your NGA players directly to your Cat B.
Yeah.
And that allows us to maybe keep a Jamie Cripps and maybe,
have people in some leadership roles.
Exactly. Whereas right now, if the list say the same, he's gone.
Yeah.
I think so. He should be. But assuming we have a couple of more spots, okay, we get this veteran Jamie Cripps for an extra year. We get Tyler Williams to our Cat B Cat B rookie list. That's not an advantage that is going to really affect any other team. What we're talking about here is just another year of Jamie Cripps. So I think that's a good starting point. And if this gets worse, then obviously the priority pick has to increase, as it did with North Melbourne. Yeah. They got more assistance over time. So for me, I think West Coast should get something. I don't think it should be a pick at the start of the draft. More list spots allows us more flexibility because we're going to have a fair few picks.
I think what people forget too is that as things change in the game, and you might not even think there's a relationship between something changing, but the game evolves. And this is, again, an opinion thing, but I feel like it's getting harder to dig yourself out of these holes.
Yes.
It's harder than what it was in 2010.
Because the draft is more compromised than ever.
Exactly.
Through academy, particularly the Northern Academies, but NGAs and more teams.
But it's also free agencies opened up. And that means that when you're on top, you're more of a destination for players to go to. So you can attract more players and whatnot. And there's just little subtle things here and there all the time that create an environment where it's better if you're... Like when you stop play or stop the play button, that it's better for certain teams. Like Geelong have obviously benefited from that massively, just staying relevant, and they've made that decision. So fair play to them. But I think the AFL, like, it's incumbent upon them that they make those changes so that teams that are down the bottom of the ladder can, because it's
yeah, agreed. Like
it's not fun.
100%. I mean, yeah, we support teams that have. I think it's never been as hard now to rebuild through the draft with the way the league is set up, and there is a lot of disadvantages to doing that.
Yep.
And the point of the priority pick is to prevent teams falling into holes like this, or at least enabling them the opportunity to get out.
Yeah.
What do you think about the argument that West Coast won a premiership in 2018? Is an argument for why they shouldn't receive any priority or assistance?
I think that's less traction for me. I think maybe with West Coast more relevant is their sort of general status as a club.
Sure.
And their sort of financial position and stuff like that. So they are, as much as where they are on field now is really bad, I think they are in a better situation than a lot of other clubs.
That's a really good response.
That would probably be my argument. But I don't think the premiership is carrying all that much weight.
I mean, it's been 7 years now. Look, if it was 2022, I would agree. It's 2025 now. And a previous premiership is not a great indicator of an ability to
I think more relevant is how bad are you? And you're quite bad. It's gotten as far as it's almost staggering that things have gotten this bad since then.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's particularly relevant now. And I think it's I mean, like this is pretty rock bottom for you guys right now.
Harley Reid have 20 touches in the first half. That's pretty outstanding. I mean, he's only on 24 now, but silver linings, baby.
But also, if the game ended and you just said he's on 24 touches, like that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's up there. Yeah, I mean, he's never hit 30 and he might tonight. Let's see, but oh, mate, doing the review for this game.
That'll be fun.
Inside 50s, we're now -5. So what was it? It was 26 to 21 at half time.
Oh, they smashed you in that third quarter.
Oh, no doubt. But it's just quite interesting to see just 34 inside 50s given the first half, the way that was going.
Points from turnover in the third quarter, 38 to 1.
Oh my God. The review of this game will be interesting. I got to figure out what tone to use. But it has been a sorry night for West Coast so far.
Oh dear.
I'll come up with some excuses. I do think the experience part can't be ignored. However, that doesn't, we're 9 goals down and that's not good enough. We can hold ourselves to a higher standard than that, but
okay. So this is a bad performance. Like, we're not getting away from that. Like, what do you think are some of the reasons other than Richmond have? Because I think the Richmond a good argument isn't particularly strong.
No, sure.
But do you think maybe you got yourself too stimulated for this game? Maybe as in it was a bad word there, but I don't know. You saw it as too much of a winnable game and it scared you a little bit?
I mean, look, that's a very reasonable suggestion, but at the same time, I don't know if we're playing that much differently to how we go. Hey, Shanahan.
Oh, nice.
I don't think there's been too much deviation from what West Coast is used to. I think Richmond's playing a lot better than I've seen them play at any point this year, maybe except for when they beat Carlton in round 1.
Yeah.
There's probably a few exceptions, but this is not the average performance from Richmond, and we have an inability to cope with it.
I don't understand how I've watched them more than I've watched West Coast this season.
Mm-hmm.
Their skills are below average. That's the thing that stands out when you watch Richmond. They have a crack, but it's just not there as far as their ball use and stuff. They feel like they're moving the ball really well against you guys, and it's hard to not think that that's something to do with how you're defending them.
Yeah, look, we can probably segment it between the first half, which was an even contest. I'd say Richmond looked slightly better, but we were in the game and we were competing. That third quarter was very one-sided. So we can probably separate those two because that's where Richmond suddenly, for the entire quarter, were just running in space and there was not a blue and gold jumper to see. So,
do you reckon you got attracted to this sounds like a weird thing to say, but you got attracted to the ball too much? As in sucked in sucked into the contest too much. I mean, I wanted to almost trying too hard, running in ball, and then because Richmond just seemed to have so much space when they moved the ball,
and they just look so much more organised.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I think that's probably a really good point because I said in that quarter, it doesn't look like West Coast have started slacking. It just there was less cohesion, and Richmond looked several classes above.
Baker is having a proper crack too.
Yeah,
this has happened way too much.
Yeah, that's been a story of the whole night. Is an intercept mark off a poor entry.
And then from this, Richmond shouldn't be able to move the ball from D50 to forward 50. They're not at that stage yet.
Yeah.
Rogue Riot, a regular contributor, says currently working on a horror film for uni and thought of being a West Coast fan is real horror. Good call, man.
Oh, well, at least we're beating Freo next week.
Oh, you almost have to now.
Yeah. We are better than this a little bit. We're a little bit better than this.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like last week we were better than this. Against an opponent that many would consider to be better than Richmond. Albeit, actually, the flow of that game was interesting. We were very good for a quarter and we held on to a lead for a long time, but we were actually kind of smashed for most of that game.
I'm just having a look at
Yeah.
who
Maybe
you
I can't
guys.
talk myself into this one.
Oh,
Brandon Stevens says Harley is the best spud ever. What are you talking about, mate?
Harley's been one of your best. I mean, I think Baker's
yes.
been your best player.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Fantasy point leader guess.
Which team?
West Coast.
Fantasy point leader for West.
Probably a player you wouldn't have even noticed.
It's not Harley.
Nah. A player we barely talked about tonight.
Oh, actually, I think I know, but it's because I saw it earlier and I thought the same thing. It's Duggan, isn't it?
27 possessions. My goodness.
Yeah. I saw that. That wasn't a guess.
Yeah,
That was
fair enough.
yeah. Oh God. We've got 78 in the chat, guys. Thanks for jumping on. It's been a bit of a tough night for Jesse.
No.
Clearly, he's fine.
If anything, honestly, doing this show with you has still been fun because it's always fun doing it. But if I was at home and if I was at Optus, I've realised I'm at my worst when I'm at Optus and we're losing. Optus Stadium games, I've been to, I don't know, 7 or 8 this year.
So when did Optus start for West Coast?
2018.
Okay.
The year we won the flag.
Oh, so it's been like one good year.
Well, 19 we were pretty good.
And then
2020 was the COVID affected year.
Right. And
so
then
we won all our games in Perth that year. So the 3 good years have been we had no crowds in 21. I didn't go.
so
we've had plenty of success there.
it's 18 and 19 and then kind of not much after that at the
in
stadium.
2020 we came 5th. So let's include that.
Gee.
We played half the season at home. We won every game in Perth. So let's include that.
Okay.
2021 was the year where we were half a good team and then we became the worst team in the comp halfway through the year. We still won a good chunk of games at home. So it's really been 22, 23, 24, 25.
Oh, that had to be a goal.
Mm.
Cripps did really well to win that contest and then just butchered the kick, but
Ravinho thinks I'm spinning the Eagles loss. I'm not spinning the Eagles loss.
Who said that?
Ravinho. I don't think I've spun it too much. I've pointed out the maturity gap, but it's been pretty rank.
Is this is this your worst loss of the season?
Nah.
Even on expectation?
That's an interesting question. Very nuanced.
It's more complicated than it sounds.
I think. Look, we're comparing some pretty bad losses this year. Not like really historic losses, but I think Carlton, GWS, Gold Coast round 1. Those were our worst performances. And this game,
I probably don't mean performance-wise. I probably more mean expectation.
Yeah,
and I don't mean the odds, but I thought you were going to, probably basing it largely off how I felt. I thought you were going to win this game.
Okay, from that point of view, there is no contest because there's no other game where we had expectation.
Yeah.
It was just this and North.
Well, yeah, I was going to say North you would have had some expectation going to that game. I think you were fairly positive.
I tipped us in both this and the North game.
Yeah. And certainly from
Rockman.
Harley, go.
He's going to have to.
Damn.
I wouldn't have trusted any of his teammates there either.
Oh, did you get a free kick?
Oh, take it.
That's handy. Yes, I remember tipping. I tipped West Coast to finish second last.
Yeah,
and I copped a reasonable amount from West Coast fans about that. I mean, it wasn't the worst, but it was probably up there. So there was some expectation that you would have won games.
Oh, I mean, I had the same viewpoint as you. I had a second last to Richmond. Just off the viewpoint that Richmond was losing all of their players. But we talked about how definitely underrated, how decent some of the remaining players are, which is something that West Coast and North don't have. I haven't had, over the stretch for the last few years in North, right?
So that was probably on the proviso that you were expecting to have Elliot Yeo back in the team at some point. McGovern wasn't going to retire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that 4 or 5 wins would be enough to avoid the spoon. I thought we would get that. Is probably how I'd say it. I didn't expect us to improve.
I think as a neutral watching this game, and we've had that conversation around priority picks and what West Coast, I think this is probably the point for me where I'm like, I'm watching West Coast throughout the season, and in this game, they're not devoid of trying. There is effort there. This isn't it's not one season, it's multiple seasons, and it is looking like difficult to get out of it for you guys. So I do feel like there is genuine warrant there that you would get some sort of compensation.
It doesn't look like it's going to turn the corner anytime soon. I agree with that. I do think there has been progress this year, which sounds silly, but I think if you just simply look at who in the team is taking more responsibility, it's much younger players this year, more midfield exposure. Who were in our top 5, like a bunch of those were young players.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what our top 5 last year was, but I reckon you'd have Duggan in there, you'd have Waterman, McGovern. So from that point of view, there has been movement in the right direction.
Well, Yo won your best and fairest last year?
McGovern, I reckon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
I could be wrong, but
it would have been up there. He would have been second, surely.
Yeah, he missed games and it might not have been him. I can't remember.
It was
Yo. It was Yo, I reckon.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean.
Yeah.
He does stuff like that. But
that's poor.
He's capable and talented.
Okay, so
yeah, he's no Nazire, that's for sure.
No. But you've basically, you're saying you've evolved the responsibility. Yeah.
It's almost like we shed of skin.
Yeah.
It's just that we look like a decrepit corpse.
Oh my God.
Under that.
We shed a skin. And everyone went, oh.
What is that?
Oh, man.
Oh.
I've lost it. That's another intercept mark.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. That's, well, if you had to isolate one of the worst elements for West Coast tonight, it's probably not just the fact that they're intercepts, but they all seem to be over the top, like over the back. Just the same thing over the time. Like we're not good inside 50, but it's become very predictable now.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely put too many balls in the air and you can't really blame that on guys like Shanahan and Williams and players like
Williams
that.
got subbed out.
Did he?
Yeah, but I find it hard to assess our young key forwards for when the ball's coming in
totally.
like it is, you know.
I feel like comparing West Coast to North, like I feel like that is one thing though that you guys have. Like you haven't built up that midfield, which is making you like bare bones. It exposes you more. Like we built the midfield first.
Yeah.
Which I feel like that gives us a bit of an edge now, but I feel like you guys have brought in some players in key position roles. You haven't gone for the midfield. I wonder in sort of 3 to 4 years if you guys are actually going to get some benefit from that in the sense that you'll get younger midfielders that'll hit the ground running quicker and then your key forwards will be ready where we're still going to be exposed in that area.
Absolutely. I think like generally like a list management principle is kind of like the tools take longer, so get them in first.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that we've nailed that, obviously, but like we're not too bad for tools. Maybe we could use another key back, but generally speaking, it's okay.
The difference with West Coast is you just haven't had that many picks.
That's true, but I also think we could have had a better attitude to replenishing our midfield over a period of time, not just like the last couple of drafts.
You've definitely made heaps of mistakes.
Yeah, it's just like...
Oh my God.
But like, you know, trading back and getting Bo Allen last year... Another player who's almost, I agree like
with
less
that.
than 50-50 to become a midfielder. There's been a complete overlooking of that position.
I think that's, of all of the stuff that we've talked about with West Coast, I reckon that is one of the craziest things. And I know like West Coast fans hated hearing that, and I get it. Like I get it with the North of the same. We made like incredible errors, but you did it. You didn't. It's not only that you did it for like the picks, just the raw picks in themselves, but like you did it in a really strong draft where they were just the sort of players that you would have needed.
Devil's advocate, though.
Yep.
It was strong, but it was even.
It was strong,
Would
but
you
it was
not
even.
agree?
Yeah, what?
And I'm not saying that's fine to trade 3 down to 14, but I'm just saying, like, there was a perception that maybe the top 5 wasn't that much better than the rest of the top 15 to 20.
Yeah, you do, though, like, at the same time, like, you leave yourself open at pick 15 that you're not going to get the guy that you wanted at the same time. But, I'll take that point.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit the same this year with trading down as far as, like, there's not necessarily... I guess the difference last year was much deeper. I think West Coast.
Harley.
Yeah, great goal. Is he going to get 30?
26th possession, I reckon that was. But second goal,
26 disposals. Like, he's had a great game.
Yeah. So, for reference, he won the Rising Star nom against Richmond last time. He had 1 goal and 27 touches. So, if you want superficial,
he should get that.
Yeah. Mind you, he was so much quicker last year. His body is definitely not.
What's happened?
It's his body. So what happened was in the preseason he got injured, and I think in typical West Coast fashion they were very tight-lipped about how bad his injury was. He still played round 1, but he spent a lot of time not with the main group, so that'd be a factor. You could then maybe question, was he in good nick when he came back to preseason? I don't know. That's conjecture.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, I mean, he's running out games okay, but look at his movement. You look at Elijah Hewitt. Elijah Hewitt, when he gets the ball, moves in any direction so much faster than Harley. And you saw that clip I posted that you referenced earlier on Instagram. Look at the way Harley moves.
Yeah.
He hasn't moved like that all year.
He was cat-like last year.
Yeah. And he's managed to find a way to help us without any of that, which I respect. And I hope that he comes into the next preseason thinking, okay, so that's what it takes to be an AFL footballer.
Yeah.
That's what happens if you're not fit, and then he attacks the preseason well. Then we'll have a player on our hands.
I don't think he's even, like, as far as, like, these are just things that I've heard along the traps and stuff. Like, he hasn't even really scratched the surface with training. Like, he wasn't a big trainer when he got drafted and stuff like that. So I
haven't heard that. But fair enough.
Yeah, I've just heard that from, word of mouth more than anything. So take that with a grain of salt. But nothing against his character, but more probably he just hasn't. He's from the country and stuff like that, so he hasn't had that.
Kid as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he's just
maybe he felt like footy was coming pretty easy to him. That's a very human thing.
Clearly, yeah.
Yeah, that's a very human thing. So I go light on him for that. But I reckon, he will learn from this.
I'm not even saying it as a negative.
Yeah.
I'm actually saying it as a positive because, he probably, like, this year probably has been a bit of a wake-up call, albeit he's been at, like, he's still been at a really high level.
Yeah.
But he knows that he's not going to be able to, like, with that,
That wasn't a great kick by Harley.
The level is higher. The level's higher, right? Like, he's going to have to work on his game.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's clear, like, he's super competitive.
Yeah.
So I feel like he'll get there.
Yeah, I do too. It's all part of the process.
I feel like you've got more to worry about with those guys that come in and they're really talented, but you almost feel like they don't give a shit. He doesn't come across like that to me at all.
No, he definitely cares. It's just, relaxed about certain things.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've got a question here from a Rogue Riot who says, how do you rate Zach McCarthy and Tom McGuan? He's a pies man.
Yeah, with those 2 questions.
While you answer that, I'm going to go pee because I have broken the seal.
Go for it. I'm probably not too far behind you. Tom McGuan. Wait, where's the comment? How do I rate Zach McCarthy and Tom McGuan? I'd probably have them early second rounds. Okay, so you've given me a starting point there. I think that is about right. I've done up a few lists down to about 50, 60 players in the draft, and they're definitely inside that. Tom McGuan's an interesting one. Like, he's a big accumulator, finds the footy, very smart player, high IQ, good skills without having, like, too much penetration and stuff like that. He's not exactly going to, like, burst out a stoppage or anything like that. So probably a little bit McGuan, like, athletically capped. But I think he's going to be a really, like, good, high IQ, smart player. So I think he fits the Collingwood build as well. And I think he's probably somewhere between 30 and 40. Zach McCarthy, I think, has the upside to be a little bit higher. We saw what he did for Metro at the weekend. Like, he kicked 3 or 4 goals in that game. Pretty mercurial. he's lean, he's skinny at the moment, pretty raw. But with the skills that he has for a almost 200 centimetre player, it's pretty up there. I think he's one that could potentially crack that. I don't think he'll crack the top 20, maybe somewhere between 20 and 30, but he's got a little bit more upside. Tom McGuan, more that bankable, good footballer type. Tom McCarthy there is just bleeding from the ear. That does not look good. But I'd have McCarthy at the moment early second and McGuan probably late second at the moment to answer the question. So I think McGuan probably just needs to find a few more levers, like a bit more punch to his game to kind of take him to that next level. Saxoner will be late, I feel, if at all. I think he's back further. For sure. But yeah, it's nice for the Pies to have those options. Definitely, it'll help out because I mean, what are they going into the draft with the Pies? Their first pick would have to be coming pretty late. I think their first is traded away. So, but they've been good, the Pies, at drafting late. Like Charlie West in the 50s, Will Hayes, like two very very good picks for what they had. So, yeah, nice to have some father sons though.
Yeah, that would be nice. We got Charlie Banfield and Harper Banfield next year. And Harpy Banfield, early days, like players can drop off in their top end year, but Harper could be the most highly rated father-son we've drafted, excluding Ben Cousins. That was a weird kind of quirk how we got him. But Jake Waterman is the best father-son we've ever had, and he's very good. But
he's very unexpected too. Oh my God.
He was the
taking
last
another intercept mark.
Yeah, I mean, look who it was to. It was to Cripps and Ryan.
Yeah.
Question here. We have talked about the draft and stuff like that, but specifically Seth Dryden's asked if you're West Coast, do you go CDT or Sam Grill if you had one pick? I feel like you will say CDT. I think there's knocks on both of them from a pick one point of view.
I do the part with West Coast, like specifically for West Coast, I would take CDT in an like if we're just talking talent open draft, I'd take CDT. But I do feel like, again, you've mentioned the Melbourne factor, which is it's a factor. It's not it shouldn't be the main factor.
Is Grill Metro or country?
Metro.
Okay, so that kind of applies to both of them.
Yeah, same thing. But I guess like more from your perspective is that you couple that with the fact that like, is he going to play straight away? Is he going to come in and make an impact? It's going to be harder for CDT to do that. And then leaving state, all of that stuff factored in, like he might be fine with it. So obviously West Coast will make that based on like his character as well. But I don't know if either of those players is necessarily perfect for West Coast right now.
See, I think there's knocks on Grill for a top 5 pick, and that's the lack of or proven contested game.
Yeah.
I would be nervous about taking him with pick 1. However, if you said, do you want CDT or you trade down and have 5, 6 and whatever.
And then you can grab Grill.
And grab Grill with one of those picks, I'd probably prefer that.
Yeah, that's a different conversation, I guess.
Like Grill and Cumming as a combo versus CDT.
Or like Grill and Lindsay or something like that.
Yeah, no-brainer.
Yeah. I do think that...
not that we would get 5 and 6. It's just... you know what I mean?
No. Totally. Whatever it ended up as. I think it will be harder for teams to trade down in this draft as well, like last year. Like you saw North trying to go after... I think North were after 7 and 8 at one stage. And I think in the end, like 7 and 15 ended up getting turned down.
Yeah, Houghton was a great grab.
Yeah, Houghton's a freak.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the closure I like trying to cope with West Coast trade last year was that it was so hard to do a deal.
Yeah.
So 12 and 14 for 3, like based on what the market was saying, was probably the best deal we could get without justifying the trade altogether.
Gee, Houghton's absolutely cooking here at the moment.
Don't tell me that.
Was he the sub? He must have been.
I don't know.
Let us know, guys.
Back to 42 points.
Was Houghton the sub? He must have been. Trainer's off. No, he can't be. He's at 16.
Dad just messaged me saying their backs can't even claim their intercept marks because we've kicked it to them every time. He's got a point there.
That's such a dad.
He's right, though, to be fair. Like, we have kicked it like 15 metres over the head of every player.
Yeah. Oh.
Jacob Hopper now, most fantasy points.
Rogue Riot says, I think probably the most interesting player in the draft is Dyson Sharp. Feels like he has the biggest gap between where he could be taken. Yeah, I don't, like personally, I don't really see him as a first rounder. But I'm probably in the minority there.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Other than seeing why West Coast would potentially take the punt on him.
Sam Grill? Who do you see him as? Kind of projection AFL.
You've seen more of them than I have, so I'm punching above my weight here having this conversation with you. But superficially, like McKercher.
Okay.
More like outside damaging type, lack of proven contested ability.
Oh my God, I actually was like... that one was ridiculous.
Yeah. Went like 10 meters. It's not a great comparison, but like just broad type. Unless you asked about potential, because I think I preferred McKercher at the same stage.
Yeah.
I loved McKercher.
Yeah, I liked McKercher a lot. I wasn't as keen on Zane for North in that particular draft. Like I liked Curtin.
Yeah.
But
looking justified at the moment.
Yeah, but it's always hard, isn't it, with when they go to like certain teams, how they end up.
That's true.
Yeah, but
Zane at Geelong would probably have won a Rising Star.
Yeah, he's Brownlow. Now what we saying? Oh, Grill. Yeah. Now I get that. I don't know as I necessarily agree that his contested game is bad. I think he's a pretty good. When you say contested, are you sort of talking about like more like physicality?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the ability to win contested ball.
Okay. Well, see, I see him as a pretty good contested ball winner.
Okay.
From a perspective of like loose ball, I think he's a loose ball player.
Is
so when he can get
uncontested,
no, loose ball's contested. There's two types of contested possession, two types of ground ball.
Yeah.
So you've got loose ball or hard ball.
Can you keep talking?
Hard ball.
I'm gonna cry.
Hard ball is under direct physical pressure. So when you win the ball on the ground, and somebody is like on you and you win it, that's a hard ball. So there's kind of like natural inclinations of players to how they win their contested possession. Like Dacos wins his contested possession with speed, getting away from people. So it's pretty much all loose. Whereas Elliot Yeo wins hard ball.
Yeah.
So he's got pressure. He uses his power and his strength to be able to do it. So Grill does win contested possession, but albeit it's not with physicality.
Yeah, okay.
It's with speed.
Okay.
Essentially.
Yeah, right.
So that's how I tend to look at it more. Like the player like that last year that I kept getting questions about was Jagger Smith, and people would say like, oh yeah, he's very outside. And I was like, Jagger Smith's he'll have the most contested possession of any player on the field every week.
Will it be recorded that way though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. So, I mean, I'll bring it up on Wheelo like right now.
Yeah, right.
And you have a look at the contested possession. There'll be like your Tom Greens and the ones that you'd expect.
Yeah.
Here we go. I mean, I'm going off on a massive tangent here.
Oh, no, it's fine.
You're having a good night though, aren't you?
No, it's all good.
So, contested possession winners right now. Tom Green is the top one.
Yeah.
15.3. Jack McRae. But if we go across to the breakdown, see, even Tom Green, 3.7 hard ball, 6.4 loose ball. Caleb Sarong, hardball player. Who would be the first one? I feel like 2025 is a little bit more on the hardball players, but like Noah Anderson.
Yeah.
He's 13.2 contested possession per game. Dacos isn't in the top 20 this year.
For contested ball? Yeah, last year he was ranking really highly for contested.
Yeah, he was.
Or at least getting a really good percentage balance.
I reckon that's just the tag element this season.
Yeah.
That's put him down a lot. But yeah, I don't necessarily see Grill as a overtly only like outside only player. I do think he's pretty good when he can find that space. But certainly like if you projected him at AFL level, like probably more taggable.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Hutchinson, the comeback is on. With a minute and a half.
90 seconds.
To cut the margin to a tantalising 43 points if he kicks it. Far out. Funnily enough, though, Harley's having this is me just striving for positives. Harley's had one of his best games statistically.
What's he on now?
27 and 2. That's 73% efficiency.
So that is that equal best? 27?
I actually don't know. I feel like there might be a 28 in there. I'm not sure off the top of my head.
We've got Seth Dryden says, Dylan, I'd like to know how long you think West Coast will take to contend again, as I've only really heard West Coast fans' opinions. Okay. That is tricky. I mean, I've said it, I think this is probably the third time I'm saying this on this stream, but this draft and this off-season is massive for West Coast. I think they missed a little bit of a trick last season, which would have potentially... I felt last year like Jagger Smith was perfect for you guys. I know I keep saying it.
I wasn't too tempted by Jagger, to be honest.
Really? Who would you have got? If you had picked 3, who would you have wanted? Draper.
I'm trying to... No, I loved Lindsay, but I probably wouldn't have gone pick 3.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it would have been Draper, I reckon.
Okay.
I would have wanted Draper. I would have accepted Harvey Langford as probably the 2. And if we went really bold on Xavier Lindsay, I liked Lindsay more than necessarily thinking that was the right pick. I would have probably said Draper, to be honest.
Fair. Yeah, he was a very, very consistent. Maybe like looking at, like maybe he's a little bit similar to Elijah Hewitt. Similar like movement and stuff, bit smaller. But yeah, very consistent. Like would have helped with that midfield. I'm not answering the question though, am I? How long will it take West Coast to get back? Oh, dear. I mean, factoring in going to... I feel like West Coast are always going to be a pretty good destination club for free agents, for players that want to go back to Western Australia and for them to be able to kind of lure big fish. Like you think about like Chad Warner in a few years. If you can get some of those picks over the line, which you're always kind of in for, I feel like the needle could move pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head there. I mean, I think if we do the North Melbourne style raw dog from purely the draft,
yeah, it's like how long's a piece of string? Like honestly, like I can't even. I don't know if I could even conservatively say like 5 years. You
look at the Fremantle model. Maybe that's apples with apples a little bit. They have an ability to recruit players. That's still taking them 10 years.
Yeah,
they've made finals once in 10 years, and I don't think their rebuild has gone badly.
When would you pinpoint their rebuild starting?
End of 15 is when they limped into that final series, made a prelim, but were seriously not in good form. We would have killed him.
That's Ross Lyon still.
Yes. Start of 16, they went 0-8, but they still had a lot of older players on the list.
Yeah.
So like the turnover wasn't there. So I'd say the rebuild started when they went 0-8 and we're like, oh shit. But I think then the first like step they took was taking Brayshaw, and Chera ultimately left. But that draft was probably
the start,
another step for them. So I'd say like 16 to 25, that's 10 years. And I'd say their rebuild has gone okay, to be honest. There's been a lot of questionable trades, but like on average, it hasn't been horrific. So I think in the modern game, when you fall apart as hard as teams have done, Adelaide, North Melbourne, West Coast, I'm not saying they're all on the same level, and Fremantle, like they did, they fell apart hard.
Yeah.
It takes that long. Brisbane, 2014.
But I see West Coast as a bit of a similar model to Adelaide.
Yeah.
You're coming from like clearly a worse starting point, just given how long you've been poor for. But I feel with Adelaide, it's similar kind of... fairly wealthy club, fairly big club. And what Adelaide's been able to do once they sort of had a sniff of being good is get some of those players into the club, like Neil Bourne this season.
Rankin.
Dawson.
Yeah.
There's a lot, isn't there?
Yeah.
So
Peatling, no connection to South Australia. Well, at least I'm not aware of it.
Yeah. Well, just a great pickup.
Yeah.
I'm not sure of the background of all those players, but like if you can bring in over a 2-year period, like 5-6 players.
Yeah.
That are just, even some of them like don't even have to necessarily be game breakers, but that's, that goes a long way.
So that's key to this conversation. It's not so much will they nail the draft picks, what draft picks will they have? That's a big part of it. But at the same time, I was optimistic that 2026 would move up when I thought Chad Warner's coming. Yeah. Now he's not. There was a bit of a rumor that Rivers would go as well if Warner did, and if we could assemble a bit of a bunch of these players coming through. But I think the critical question for the next few years for West Coast, starting with this draft, which is important, is can they sell a future to Judd McVie, who's out of contract right now,
Yep.
Chad Warner in 2 years, Trent Rivers will be a free agent at the same time, if I'm not mistaken. If they fail to land any of these players, it's going to take a lot longer, but there is a chance that West Coast do sell a future, just sell a bit of hope, and they can come out of this. That is the best case scenario. But to answer the question, when we say contending, I think it's from finals. We're not going to make finals in the next 3.
Yeah, well,
Four or 5?
Woody's just jumped in here in the chat. Woody from Wooden Spoon Data, legendary. He's been on the stream before. He says they won't compete for 3 years.
So what are we talking about compete?
Well, I suppose
that's important.
As a North Melbourne supporter, I would say this is the first year we've competed. And I know that probably some people will say you're not competing. I feel like we've had a big jump this year as far as we've still lost by a lot.
And you're still bottom 2.
We're still bottom 2. We're fucking bottom 2. I forgot about that. We are we're terrible, but there are statistical jumps that we've made this season of competitiveness that wasn't there in the past. So I think we competed this year. I don't think any other year we've competed.
Right. I think that the intention of the question though will be finals at a minimum.
For competing
is my guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I've taken that wrong.
Yeah.
North Melbourne has a lack of poaching power compared to West Coast Adelaide. Concrete says 100%.
For sure.
Yeah, we don't get... And I think that's where... I think North Melbourne built from the midfield out going, we'll pick up these free agents to fill the key position roles. Like we'll take Griffin Logue and Aiden Core. And they couldn't get anyone good, so they took those guys. And they're not good enough.
Yeah. Yeah, no, totally. Yeah. So in summary, I think 3 years, West Coast won't play finals within the next 3. I think they can play finals within 5.
Okay.
Provided they get a few key pillars. Like if you just rely on the draft, like the seeds, growing from seeds and becoming good players in 5 years, it's going to be tougher. But I think, as you say, West Coast have the advantage if they can prove the future or sell a future at crucial junctures, i.e. each off-season, there's a chance they come out of this a little bit quicker than some teams that don't have that advantage. I do think we have a good coach. That's my gut feeling. And I think we have a terrible list right now. That is, it's just really inequipped to compete at AFL level. And we're still by far and away the youngest team in the comp. But that's on us as well.
Yeah. I think West Coast, when I look at the list really holistically, like surface level, the experienced players and the leaders, there's a lot of parallels there with North where the leaders aren't good players anyway. So it's like debatable whether a lot of those guys would get into other AFL teams. And they're the
ones that were good got injured.
Yeah, exactly. So like they're not even contributing on field, which massively hurts you. And then you've got these young players and some of them are talented, but who are they looking to and all those sorts of things. So it's just hard to get any continuity and look at it all. If you did break down West Coast's like sort of, I don't know, I guess like wherever you want to pinpoint that this has gone wrong and look at the lines of your team, like do you think there's been a strategy of how they've drafted? Can you see a sort of like the pillars of what they're trying to do? Like we talked about before, the key position, they've sort of gone after those players. Do you think they are trying to do it like that? Like they've sort of brought in those key position players and now it's sort of looking to the midfield?
I don't know if that has been a clear strategy. I think a lot of our keys have been, the ones we've drafted in recent years have been, he's too good to pass up there. Job Shanahan's an example of that. I don't think we went to the draft saying, all right, let's get him. He's important for our list.
Yeah, we're going keys.
It's been pick 30, way too good to be passed up on. Let's take him. I think it's similar with Archer Reed the previous year. Jack Williams was pick 57. Well, those are 3 of our main key forwards at the moment. And then key backs, I'm still optimistic that like Bazzo and Edwards and Brock will be okay players, but we haven't like drafted early on any of those guys. I think West Coast, if I had to like find an average with their philosophy, they like athletes, they like competitors. I think that's the one correlation between all the recruiting over the last few years that I've seen. It's competitors and it's athleticism.
Yeah.
As evidenced by Jinby, Bo Allen, Elijah Hewitt.
I mean, the competitors one is difficult to quantify because everyone says they want competitors and everyone's idea of what a competitor is can be different.
Sure.
But I would agree strongly with the athletes.
Yeah.
You guys don't want a player that you kind of don't want to die wondering, can they make it athletically at the level? It's then like, and that's where like I think teams like West Coast get into trouble because they draft athletes and they can't develop, they can't develop their football skills well enough.
Yeah.
Which then becomes a problem down the track. So you've just got these athletes that
can't win. Hacking it forward,
can't win the ball sort of thing. But yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, West Coast consigned to a very likely to be 1-win season in 2025. I can't imagine West Coast plucking another win this season. Tonight was bitterly disappointing. The way I'll cope with it is by telling myself there is a huge gap in experience between the two sides, but I think it's all clear to see for everyone. West Coast should not have given up a 50-point deficit to a team that when we travelled to Melbourne early this year, we could have easily won that game.
Yeah.
So we can only hold ourselves to account there. It was a tale of two halves. We were in the contest at halftime. Had the game played out if the second half mirrored the first half and we stuck with them, but we weren't quite good enough, I don't think there would be too much criticism from me. That's the way I'll phrase it. I think I would have let it go, but this was a butchering. And, you know, like last year was a season where West Coast were diabolical for a lot of it, but then there was these games where you're like, wow. And tonight was an opportunity to at least get a win. And we've failed in most of our winnable games this year. We've either lost by narrow margins or tonight we got pumped. So that is the way the season will sit.
Last year felt so much more optimistic, I feel, from an outsider. I mean, probably a lot of that was probably around Harley Reid.
And, well, we had two All-Australians, not Hewitt, Waterman, McGovern, one All-Australians, and Yo, supported by Harley.
Yeah.
The last 10 weeks of last year where Simo eventually got the sack, because like halfway through the year, we were 3 wins out of the first 10, and that's okay.
That's fine, yeah.
And 3 of those wins were pretty exciting. But to end that year, I mean, we had some horrible losses. So I would say, like, I felt a bit bleak about the immediate outlook for West Coast. So, yeah, like I said, maybe our average performance has improved this year, but at the end of the day, we're going to finish the season with 1 win. So that's great.
It's a tough one. If you had flicked on the, like, if you were traveling or something and you opened the app and you're like, oh, West Coast lost by, 50 odd points, you'd be like, oh yeah, and then you'd realise it's to Richmond.
Yeah, the second worst team in the comp.
That's the absolute killer.
They were.
Talking of off season, you've obviously got McGovern, Cripps, and Sheed. They'll be the ones that will retire.
Yeah.
At the end of the year, a couple of those forced.
Yeah, 2 of them are confirmed. Cripps is unconfirmed. We don't know yet.
Oscar Allen probably. I don't know. I feel like we're maybe taking that for granted a little bit too much, but it seems likely that he'll go.
We do talk about it as a sure thing, but I still think it's quite likely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who, in your opinion, gets delisted?
Cal Jamison will go, I'd imagine. Just been injured too much. So I don't even have a strong opinion about his football ability. That's how little he's played over the stretch. And when you're 24, 25, it's time to go. From the rookie list, Locke Rawlinson, you'd imagine goes. Cohen Livingston probably goes. NGA Ruck, he could survive, but we've got some other NGA players who'll be then consigned to the Cat B rookie list, so more likely he goes. Campbell Chesser probably goes. There was a brief glimpse. He was out for the half of the year injured this year, came back, played really well in his first Waffle game, and then played really poorly the week after. And then you've got Jack Petrocelli, a pretty sure thing. Jaden Hunt is out of contract and out of the team, so it's very easy to make a connection there. Probably gone.
Yeah.
And Tom Cole could survive if all those other players go because he's in the team right now, and that's pretty much it. He's also a couple of years younger.
If you're Petrocelli, Hunt, or Cole, like you want to be a good culture guy.
Yeah, true. And Hunt is that.
Yeah.
And possibly Cole as well. But yeah.
They're probably fortunate that they are in this team that doesn't have that many senior players. So like they'll probably hang on to at least one of those 3.
Yeah.
You would think just to have some age there. But
yeah,
those other guys are all vulnerable.
I mean, it comes down to like if we talked about before, like if the AFL allows us to have extra list spots, then that makes that decision easier. But if we've got 5 first round picks, like if we manage to maneuver it that well, then we're going to have to make some tough calls on these guys as they currently stand.
How many of I know you have like you're not intimately familiar with all these guys, but you've got a lot of NGA and father-son options. How many of those could you see taking?
I think Banfield gets drafted. He's father-son, not so can't be Cat B, but yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'd say
Banfield
he gets drafted.
taken. I think Kobe Evans, from what I've heard, he's been injured, but it sounds like he might actually be the most promising. And then not sure about Wes Wally or Tyler Williams. I mean, I think we were talking the other day off air. Wes Wally's fallen away. Tyler Williams has come a long way in a short period of time. But I'm more confident about Banfield and Evans. And there's another, I think there's Jake Catton or something like that. There's another one.
Jeez, I haven't even heard of him.
Yeah, I don't think he has a big profile, but I think he's technically our NGA. So
got ya.
Let's call it Banfield and Evans and maybe Tyler Williams.
I think so. My opinion of those guys, I think depends if you want to take both small forwards. I know you guys have got a lot of small forwards on your list. I feel like Williams is the pick.
Yeah.
Out of him and Wally from watching them. Wally's a weird one. Like he's that sort of he's a medium type forward, which I feel is a little bit of a dying position unless you can play midfield as well.
Yeah.
And I don't think Wes Wally has much of a he strangely doesn't have much of a ground ball game.
Okay.
So he relies too much on marking, and he's a pretty good mark.
Probably kind of sounds like Josh Hill was for West Coast. I don't know. You were probably
I remember. Yeah, I do remember him.
Just like a classic medium forward that wasn't necessarily a crummer, just a lead up lacrosse style forward.
Yeah, that's what he feels like to me. It's not like I never see him crumb, but I don't see that as a big strength of his game. Which is I feel like in 2025, if you're a medium to small forward, you've got to be good on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
And Williams is that, and Williams has got genuine pace. Decision making sometimes can probably let him down a little bit, but I think that can be developed. So he'd be one. I haven't seen enough of Evans just because he's been injured for most of the season. So I saw him in one academy game. He's a big bodied mid forward type player. He looks a little bit slow to me.
Okay.
But I need to see a little bit more of him. I'd almost say Banfield for me is the pick.
That's good.
Happy
with that.
Sort of a almost like a third tall, maybe a second tall, potentially.
Yeah.
So not necessarily a player that you're screaming out for.
I've heard him described as a tall wingman. So I don't know if he plays that way in the waffle versus when he played for the WA. But hopefully if he can play like as that Embley style.
Yeah,
there's a lot of West Coast references.
Is a marking player. Yeah. It's just whether, again, West Coast having a lot of those kind of players. Like you've got Jack Hutchinson and these sort of, even Bo Allen to some extent, like these medium sort of players. He's kind of like another one like that. Yeah. And maybe you could craft him into a key position forward or something like that, but not necessarily what you need. So it's a watch.
Probably worth a punt, I'd say.
Worth a punt.
But this is the argument for why more list spots allows us to make some decisions on these guys and not have to make hard calls and retire Jamie Cripps to get Charlie Banfield. You know what I mean? Like if we can have both, I think that's a good compromise. For sure.
And I think that's definitely something that you'd want to see happen. I know they did it for North at some point, gave us some extra list spots.
Right. Yeah.
Problem is when you're down the bottom of the ladder and you get those extra list spots, you don't necessarily do anything great with them anyway. But
I think it's a good starting point. If we continue like this, then we can say, hey, okay, give us a first rounder.
For sure. Do you have a preference? I've talked to West Coast fans about this a little bit, but do you have a preference around the place that the player comes from? Do you feel like they should draft just purely best available? They should go for the local talent? Like, what do you?
No. Well, I mean, what West Coast says outwardly might not be truth, but they say that they only do that. They only differentiate when the talent is rated evenly. Look, Vic Metro is probably the only one that I think gives me a little bit of doubt, purely because whoever it is will have so much demand for them. I think generally speaking, you go for the best available talent. But in the case of CDT, it's not just that he's from Vic Metro, it's also how long it's going to take both him to reach his prime and us to come good. So I think where you are in the cycle matters. I think Fremantle, for instance, was much better placed to take a Murphy Reid because they're already a pretty decent team. But Murphy Reid at West Coast would probably be, I think that would have been not a great pick. Or at least it's probably just that he wouldn't be having the same impact and probably not as happy. So all of these little nuanced things are relevant.
One thing that people don't think of when they consider all of that stuff, sorry to sort of cut you off there, but like Murphy Reid comes to a team in Freo. He's from, maybe he's a little bit of a fish out of water there. Like he's not feeling super comfortable. And he goes to this club where kind of everybody's really comfortable, like where they're at with their career. Like these players like Brayshaw and Sarong, like they have no fear of like losing their spot.
Yeah.
Or anything like that. Whereas like he goes to a club like West Coast and everyone's in this sort of strange, they're either like at the back end of their career and they're sort of winding down, or they've got these young players that are all sort of pressing for a list spot, and it becomes like really competitive and potentially like as a young player who feels uncomfortable away from home anyway, it's a bit toxic.
Yeah. I mean, the stability, I suppose, is what we're describing there. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I just feel like some of those older players in Freo's case can sort of like, they're closer to his age, and a guy like Andy Brayshaw and Caleb Sarong can actually go like, hey mate, like, and they're really, where they're at with their career, they're fine.
Yeah. No, I think that's all valid. So yeah, to answer your question, I'm not necessarily for discriminating players on exactly where they're from, but I think where you are in your cycle matters. And I think West Coast right now should err on the side of being somewhat conservative. With Harley, we weren't conservative in the sense that we had great deals. I think taking deals for great trades and trading down would have been the conservative move. We backed ourselves in there, and then presumably with Murphy Reid, I'm assuming we weren't willing to take that risk.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see.
Give me two. I've got a few names at the top end of the draft. We'll say West Coast have 2 picks.
Yeah.
Who are you taking? Cooper Duff-Tytler, Willem Dersma, Josh Lindsay, Sam Cumming, Jevon Philippou, Dyson Sharp, Sam Grill, Oliver Greaves.
Sam Cumming and Josh Lindsay.
That's actually, that's perfect.
Is that what you like?
Yeah, I like that as well.
Okay, cool. Yeah. We talked about Sharp. I think I have the same concerns over Greaves in terms of what he does well, but also what he doesn't do well. Philippou, I've personally just seen the least of, and I think there's also, some question marks. But I think I'm a little bit of gun shy around Dersma, Duff-Tytler. But Josh Lindsay and Sam Cumming, I think, both fit the bill for what we need and seem safer. I don't know.
No, I think I totally agree. I reckon if you went Cumming into Lindsay, Philippou into Lindsay even, something like combining two of those, like a bit more of an athletic mid with a distributing sort of like ball-using mid, I think that works really well. Like
even Cumming and Philippou. Are we going too high risk?
That feels
possibly.
It feels risky because Lindsay feels like a really safe pick.
Yeah,
but
that's probably
I don't necessarily think that doubling down on higher risk play, like that's not necessarily a bad strategy to take either.
Yeah.
Because if one of those two is really, really good, then it's great. And maybe the other one turns into a role player. But
sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, like character and all of that stuff comes into that as well. But it's interesting. The only other thing potentially to talk about was the Tassie thing. Did you want to do the Tassie thing?
I've forgotten. Yeah, we can do the Tassie thing. How do you feel about it?
I feel great.
Yeah, you
I feel great about it.
Yeah, we can do it. Yeah. Hope my battery doesn't die.
Jesse's battery may die.
I'll
let you lead this one.
All right. We thought it would be a fun idea to discuss what it would be like if we could steal one player from every team, but like not to assemble a team of 18, but to simply say which player is the most stealable from each AFL side. And we'll set a little bit of context. Let's say we're an expansion side. Let's say we're Tasmania, but it's 2025. And we could steal one player to build a franchise around from each club and make it a little bit of a justification as to why. So should we move through the clubs alphabetically?
Just to clarify here, just one thing. So
Please do.
Are we trying to... We're pretty much just building that franchise player. We're not going to go after like, we'll take a key defender from this team.
Correct.
Because we want a key defender. We want just kind of their best player or the player that we think we could build the team around.
Yes. So I suppose the scarcity of that player is a factor.
Yes.
To some extent. And how young they are. I suppose you want a player that is a balance between not risky, but also not past it.
Yeah.
Or won't be past it in a few years. So let's use Adelaide as an example. Who do you think, if you were Tasmania, and let's say not 2027, let's say we're right now, if you could steal one player to start round 1, 2026, who would it be?
This is easy. It's Jordan Butts. It's not really, no. It's Isaac Rankin.
Yeah.
Surely it's Isaac Rankin.
Yeah.
The level that he's playing at.
You throw sarcasm at me so rarely that I was like, what?
No, Isaac Rankin. I mean, the level that he's playing at over the last couple of years, and again, scarcity, you mentioned off the top there, the scarcity of the player. You can't find that sort of speed and endurance and just general impact on the game, his ability to win a clearance, kick a goal, do something mercurial. And he's found that sweet spot that I don't think he had at Gold Coast, where he sort of stays in the game much more consistently now than he did before. So he is, would you say he's a top 10 player in the comp?
Possibly.
I think he is.
Yeah, it needs some time to really do that.
Yeah,
but I think so. I think nothing about that seems...
He's at that level.
Yeah. And you feel like a big game player, and it's certainly so much more than a small forward. You know, I think the justification there is very easy. I had Rankin as the same. The one I considered was Dawson, purely on just the quality of player
he was the first player that came to my mind, and then you always go, oh, Rankin though.
Yeah, I think it's the scarcity piece.
Yes.
Right? Like, Rankin is harder to find.
Yep.
What about the Brisbane Lions? They've got a top-heavy and bottom-heavy... Well, that's not true, actually. They've got great players of every age bracket and a very even team. Like, I reckon a few years ago, I might have gone to Harris Andrews.
It's exactly what I was going to say.
Right. And Lockie Neal at times would have been that player, albeit now he's 31, 32 this year. Same age. But failing that... I was going to say Will Ashcroft because of his youth and his performance to date and the comfortableness I have with the idea that he will become a good player. But McCluggage is also an outstanding player in his prime right now. So I think you can make the argument to go for him. But I will say Will Ashcroft. He's a North Smith medalist already and he's 20. I think you go expansion side, potential leader.
You're going mid-flavour. I think it would be for me, it would be out of two. It would be Hugh McCluggage. Or Cam Rayner.
Yeah, okay. I was going to suggest maybe that you would say Rayner.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Rayner.
Yeah,
I'm a massive fan of his. Just again, probably in that Isaac Rankin flavour. It's just like those guys they just don't grow on trees. The guy that can come in, win a big centre clearance, can kick a big goal, so powerful, and a pretty creative player as well. And I feel like, for me, that Brisbane team, when I just think about the Brisbane team, I think about those forwards. Yeah. Those powerful forwards that they have. Even I'd even consider throwing a Zach Bailey into the hat, but I think I would go with Cam Rayner.
Yeah.
Hugh McCluggage second for me. But I get the Will Ashcroft one, consistency.
Yeah.
Bankable.
Yeah.
Leader.
Mm-hmm. I thought you might have thrown Logan Morris in there, to be honest. But I think there's a few to choose from. They're a very good team with young players as well. Carlton is actually a tricky one because a couple of years ago, 2023, you said, wow, they got so many elite players in their prime, or at least this was my take, so many key pillars of that team. Yeah. Who do you choose from? And now, or a couple of years down the track, and I think it's just a little bit harder, although, as I say, one player just came to the front of my mind.
Yeah, I've got one player. I actually think this is relatively easy.
I forgot about this player.
3, 2, 1, Wiedering.
Lachlan Fogarty.
Surely
that's actually not the player that popped into my mind.
Was it Kerno?
It was TDK.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So, funnily enough, I had Wiedering down on my notes.
I would go Wiedering.
Wiedering's a great choice, but TDK, as I said it, he's not that much younger. TDK Wiedering would be the two.
Yeah.
I would have said Walsh a couple of years ago, but he's just not quite he'd become the player that maybe we expected him to at this early juncture. He's still got time, but if you're taking one player, it's probably Wiedering for the safety and just what you're going to get. But TDK would also be a worthwhile shout, I think.
I think he's a good shout. I don't think from TDK. I don't think we've seen that he can do it at the It's not like he's really had been a big game player. I don't think he's really put a full season together or anything like that. So it would be an upside pick for sure, and I get it based on that. I just feel like Wiedering.
You can build a backline around Wiedering.
You can build a backline.
So if you're an expansion side, that's important.
Yeah, and he's one of those defenders where there's literally no questions around his size or anything like that. It's he's never playing.
That must be nice.
Yeah, exactly. He's never playing on someone that.
Continue.
Damn it, Jess. He's never playing on someone that's bigger than him.
No.
Next team, it's Wiedering.
Collingwood's got to be the easiest one here.
Yeah.
Is there any contender to Nick Dacos on this team?
Nah. Not
because
even
of the age.
Not even close.
Well. I mean, he's probably their best player to begin with. Essendon is tricky though.
Yes.
I'll let you go first.
And we're like, again, we're making this. We're not saying it's necessarily their best player.
Yeah.
It's a franchise player. I like how you. Oh no, I actually think this is relatively straightforward now that I think about it.
Yeah, I've also changed my mind from who I wrote down.
It's Nate Caddy.
Oh, actually, I wrote Nate Caddy, but I was also thinking like he's riskier than say Nick Martin.
Oh, you were going to say Nick Martin?
Well, no, I wrote Caddy, and then as I was about to say it, I was like, Caddy's in his second season. Is that who I'd go when you could have Nick Martin?
When you could have, yeah, that's a tricky one.
I think Merritt's just a little bit old now. I mean, he would have been this choice for the last 10
course.
years.
He's their best player.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, you'd sort of be not giving yourself enough of a runway there with the team.
If you had one pick, one opportunity, would you go Nate Caddy? I don't know.
Do you know what you always think back with that? You think of the Gary Ablett to Gold Coast. Merritt feels more like Gary Ablett to Gold Coast, where the Giants went for that model of like they brought in some older players that were less quality, and then they went to like Callum Ward and these younger guys.
Phil Davis.
Yeah,
a couple others.
Scully. Like young guns, which not all of those worked either, but probably overall worked
as a
better.
model. It works better.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think it has, for me it has to be Caddy. Probably more upside.
Yeah.
Nick Martin, that type of player, I think is like super valuable. But I think Caddy. More difficult to find that player in a draft crop as well.
Yeah, that's actually a really tough one. I'm deciding between those two. I might go Martin, just to add a bit of flavour, a bit safer.
I like that.
What about Fremantle? They've got a fair bit of young talent you can pick from here. A lot of players that would be suitable for a expansion side. So it just comes down to who is the best.
For me, we all know I love Caleb Sarong.
You are a Sarong.
No, I'm not going to go Caleb Sarong. I'm going to go Josh Tracy.
I considered him. I went Luke Jackson.
Fair.
Yeah, I think you can make a case for either. Both valuable positions, but I think maybe the scarcity thing as well with Luke Jackson. It's harder to find another Luke Jackson in the modern game currently, I reckon.
I'd be more like when we had the TDK discussion, I'd be more likely to go for Jackson over TDK. Yeah. But that is a tough one. The other one that I considered there in my head, probably even before Jackson, was Andy Brayshaw.
Hayden Young as well would have been a great shout.
Forgot about Hayden Young.
Yeah.
Shea Bolton. But I've gone with those small forwards. I went Rankin and somebody else. I went Rayner, another forward. But and
you went Lachlan Fogarty as well.
And Fogarty, of course Fogarty. Joel said Nick Martin ACL, but not like. We're sort of not taking that into
hypothetical. Yeah.
Yep. Joel also said Caddy as well for Essendon, but
Unbranded just said end stream, please.
Someone always comes in and says that.
Why?
I don't know. We've got 81 on that. We're loving this.
Chuck a like on the stream if you could as well, please, guys. Thank you.
Absolutely. Get around it. We're doing we're building Tasmania.
Yeah.
As we speak. So we've just had Fremantle. I went with Josh Tracy?
Yeah, I'll go Jackson.
Luke Jackson. Who is next?
Hayden Young is my second. Geelong. Oh, there's a few young talents here.
Yes, there are a few young talents, but I think there is one that is perfect for this role, and it is Max Holmes.
So I think it's a pretty even race between him and Bailey Smith. I think I go Bailey Smith.
You and Bailey Smith?
I think I will.
Are you taking into consideration the profile as well there? Like new team?
No, I wasn't. I just think he just edges Holmes on quality. But Holmes
Do you really?
Holmes is a couple of years younger.
Yeah, I feel like Holmes is more dynamic.
Yeah. I don't know. Is he more dynamic?
They're
both extremely dynamic.
Yeah, they're actually both really dynamic.
Yeah.
I feel like Holmes has got better ball use.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
And
Smith is the clutch player, though, the one that wins finals at the Gabba. Points to his veins.
Yeah.
That one time
that does stick in your mind. Yeah. Bailey Smith goes back to that player again too. Like not the greatest field kick, but if you leave him alone inside 50, he'll kick a goal.
Yeah.
Which is, I still don't fully get how that works. But
I think you can't lose with that one personally.
Yeah. I'm going Holmes.
Yeah. Gold Coast, ironically, as an expansion side, this one also not completely obvious to me. I think there's a number of evenly rated ones. Although as I say that, there may be someone who pops into my mind at the last minute. That's happened 3 times in this video alone.
I'm just going to scan across to yours and see what you've done. Oh,
okay, I didn't even write one name down.
Okay, for me, this is clear.
Okay.
I thought, sorry, I looked over your notes and I thought you had Noble.
Actually, another player I wouldn't mind West Coast having a look at. But yes, continue.
Oh, dear. No, I think for me, Noah Anderson.
Yeah, if you'd have let me go first there, I probably would have gone with Anderson. But I did consider Rao, but I think Anderson's better performed.
Yeah.
Mac Andrew also has the tall, just to throw a little bit of flavour in there.
Yes.
But is there anyone else that bubs up? I mean, there's a lot of high draft picks over the last few years that we haven't seen a lot of yet, like Walter, Lombard, Jake Rogers, Ethan Reid. There's really good
There's
talent.
tons of those guys. I think like you'd take in this. I know he's probably getting, like before I said, like you go for that younger player over like a Merritt, but Anderson's young enough that I think it still works.
Yeah, totally. I think he's only 24.
Yeah, you get the best of his career sort of thing. So I think he's fairly straightforward. Like, it'd be a hard case to say I'd take Mac Andrew over, albeit there's a lot of upside there, but like you wouldn't want to take that over Noah Anderson.
He's also a leader. Is he captain or?
He's captain.
Yeah, he's captain. Yeah,
he's captain.
Yeah, I didn't imagine that. Yeah,
kicked that awesome goal the other night against the Pies.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So I would agree with you. That's who I would agree with.
I think the only other one that we didn't mention that would be like maybe a shout would be Bailey Humphrey.
Yeah, it crossed my mind, but I just went for the proven quantity.
Yeah. I'd take Anderson, but I think he's had to be mentioned. Yeah. Who's next?
The GWS Giants. I reckon there's two. You can't look at my notes.
No, I'm staying.
Druzy.
I'm like,
No, it's fine.
No, for me, this is.
I think you'll say the same.
Fairly straightforward. I'm not.
Really?
I promise I'm not.
No,
looking.
it's fine. I know who you're going to say.
Finn Callahan.
Yeah, you were going to say Finn Callahan. Yeah. I think that is absolutely worth. Like you could do that. I would throw some love to Sam Taylor because I think he is so good.
I love Sam Taylor
so much.
So
that it's those two players you look at there, and you got to choose one. But you can also like the same thing with Wiedering. Sam Taylor, just lock and load key back for the next 6 years.
Joel just said Eric. I don't know why Eric Cadman, but yeah, Aaron Cadman. Is there a joke there? Aaron Cadman. I agree that he says too risky though. But I agree with that because like,
is it a Cartman reference? Eric Cartman.
Maybe.
Reference.
Eric.
How old am I?
Eric. Yeah, well, it could be.
That's a YouTuber, Cardman 22.
I could make a case there.
Yeah, I agree, but
with Taylor.
But
sorry,
if you have
the Taylor v Callahan.
Yeah.
Just quickly, I could make a case there that not like Callahan's a pretty rare player, but like Taylor, you're not going to find that player.
Yeah.
It's like no one else can do what he can do.
Yeah. I think I will go Taylor.
Yeah, I'll go Callahan, but that is.
Yeah.
I reckon that's the closest one we've had.
Yeah. Hawthorn. I think there's one obvious answer too.
I mean,
you hate this bloke.
I hate this bloke.
Yeah, it's James Warple.
I'm thinking Will Day.
Yeah, that's it. I was being sarcastic. Yeah. You love Will Day.
He's their best player.
I think so too. I think they're a very even team, with the exception like Will Day is that more transcendent player, but there's a few more like there's a lot of quality role players in that team.
Yes,
they're a very good system team, and there's not really too many passengers in that side either. So I think they're well rounded as a team, and Will Day probably has the highest projection.
Yep. I think he sets their kind of in a way like their otherwise relatively boring midfield. He gives it a lot of flavour, like a lot of punch.
And Nash and
and then you're right. Like I just think they're really well balanced around that. Like they've recruited really well with players to play specific roles. Like Watson's probably like one of their more kind of star factor players. Dylan Moore you could throw up there, but I think
Dylan Moore's a great shout too. He'd probably be my number 2.
Yeah, he's been all Australian, hasn't he?
I'm actually not sure.
I think he was last year.
Yeah, okay.
A bit of a quieter year this year.
I think he might have been last year. I could be wrong.
Yeah, and then I mean the other one that you would have been talking about 12 months ago would be Sicily.
Yeah, true. You absolutely would have been talking about him. But again, the age thing, he's not that young.
Yeah.
I think he's 96 born. So.
Which, the only, like, if you're bringing in the risk factor as a player here for Tassie too, though, with Will Day, you'd be like, the injuries would be a question.
Yeah. A great call. Yeah.
But, yeah, I'd still take Day.
Yeah. Dylan Moore is a worthwhile shout, though. Melbourne Football Club. I feel like you have some aging veterans and you have some promising up-and-comers, and then there's a couple of stars.
This is hard.
You reckon? I think there's one choice that I think is viable.
Oh, I mean,
you're not going to go Gawn or Petrarca or Oliver.
No.
So then you if you go all the way to the youth, you've got Lindsay and Langford and Windsor and Tholstrup, first-round draft picks, but then you've got a few players that have been around for a while. Trent Rivers, Cozzy Pickett is.
I think, of course, yeah.
So Cozzy Pickett was who I had. Yeah.
I was gonna go Windsor, but no, that's a slam dunk.
Yeah, absolutely.
I forgot about that.
North Melbourne, it was a tricky one. Like
someone just said Jai Cully for the wild card, for sure.
Yeah, well, West Coast should look at him.
Yeah, Joel's right. Cozzy, case closed.
Yeah.
Who's next?
North Melbourne. If you've heard of them,
I have heard of this team.
Who do you think is the most stealable player?
Oh, who would I want to build a team around from? I mean, being a North fan and probably like the leadership qualities and all of that sort of stuff, the first player that I would think of would be Harry Sheasel.
Yeah.
But there is something about George Wardlaw that I'd like. If I was Tassie, I'd be like, I would like a piece of that.
Yeah. You think there's a good chance he'll be the better player of the two?
Yeah.
I agree, but
I'm worried about his body.
I was going to say his body is a big factor there. I think Sheasel is a safe bet, and it's safe enough for me to go there. Any other contender there? Cherry's a good shout.
He is a good shout.
Great shout. And not too old. Was he 26, 25?
Yeah, no, he's not that old. 25.
Absolutely young enough. That's a great shout.
Yeah.
Forgot about him, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, the others you'd be looking at would be like an LDU. I don't think you'd take him.
Yeah.
You'd take one of those younger guys over him. And then some people like Larky, Paul Curtis would be another one.
Really? I mean, he's a good player, but he's just...
Yeah, I don't think you would take him over any of...
you go Sheasel, wouldn't you?
I think it'd be Sheasel, Wardlaw with Sherry as the outsider.
Yeah.
Rogue Wright says a future captaincy option, Wardlaw. Some people saying Kirch.
Well, Shees is also that, though.
And Colby for Tassie, because we made it around
Yeah,
Tassie.
true. Yeah.
I think
we ignored that part.
I think you'd still take... I think you'd trust that you'd get Colby anyway.
Yeah, true.
You'd take Shees. What am I doing? I'm ripping apart my own club. Who's next?
Port Adelaide.
Oh, easy.
I think there's
Actually, no,
one,
it's not.
I think there's two choices here.
Yeah, there are.
And we're talking about Horn Francis, and the other one is Butters.
Yeah,
I agree. That is the call.
And Darcy Byrne-Jones.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know why I said that.
Yeah. More of them.
Oh, you're more of a Butters.
More of a Lockie Jones, man.
Beginning of the season, I would be absolutely all over Jason Horn-Francis.
Yeah.
But Butters is so freaking good.
And he's young enough that it's just
I'd take Butters.
Yeah.
And particularly, we're talking about building a new team and being the franchise player. I know what I'm going to get from Butters, where I don't want to say this, but as a North Melbourne supporter, like he might just go home.
Yeah.
So I got like Butters he's a dog.
Yeah.
Like did you see that mark he took this weekend, like going back with the flight? I don't know if you caught their game against Hawthorn.
I watched most of that game. I must have missed
horrific conditions, but just took a insane mark going back with the flight. Like he's just, I don't know, there's so much trust there.
Yeah.
Would you go the same way?
Oh, I wrote down Horn Francis. I'll stick with that, so I'm not a sheep. But I think you could be equally happy with Zach Butters.
A few in the comments saying Georgiades. I wouldn't take him over.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
But amazing. Second in the Coleman. Who would have called that?
I know. He's
great
had
talent.
He's an amazing year. And some people saying Rosie over, I assume, Horn Francis.
I mean, look, he's worth a mention, but I think third clearly in that pecking order.
Sorry, Concrete says Tasmania is basically an ice bath. No way Jason or Francis goes there. That's good
call.
stuff.
Great call. Richmond Footy Club. This is, it actually might be incredibly simple.
For me?
Yeah.
I know this is really early to say this, but it's Sam Law.
Oh, that's who I had. I don't think there is another contender. Every other player is like mature and not amazing.
Yeah.
Like they probably don't have a single elite player on their list. They have just lots of good players.
And then
you've got to look at the young guys and who's the best one. It's Sam Law. I think that's quite obvious. Is there any other contender? No.
No, not unless you picked out another one of the draftees. Like maybe you're a Hotton man.
Yeah, exactly. Or a fall guy.
Love that.
That wasn't intentional.
That was very good.
That's good. St Kilda.
This is odd. I mean,
it's easy, I reckon.
Nasiah.
Yeah,
I think it has to be Nasiah. The only one you wouldn't take this guy over Nasiah, but I was going to throw in Philippou.
Yeah, I thought of him next.
I think he's such a talent.
You know who I loved a couple of years ago? Machito Owens.
Yeah.
And I thought that the upside is so high.
But it turned out, I agree. I was 100% exactly the same with Owens. The upside doesn't seem to be as high anymore.
Yeah.
He's just a good AFL player.
Yeah. I mean, still pretty young, but yes.
Yeah.
They're the same age as Nazai, to be fair. They're both like 22. So
yeah,
early days. But I agree, like my Nazai is the clear choice.
Yeah.
And that will be reflected potentially in this year's trade market.
Yeah. I don't think you couldn't make a case for Philippou with the injuries and the lack of continuity and stuff. But
absolutely. Yeah. Sydney Swans?
Sydney Swans.
A few options here, I reckon.
This is, they're tricky because of the age profile element to it.
Yeah.
I think you'd have to, like, I just watched him today, so it's fresh in my mind, but like Isaac Heaney, who wouldn't want him on their team?
29 though.
Yeah.
That's why I would eliminate him. I want some longevity, baby. I want 2020 or 2019 draft when you've got Goulden and Warner staring you in the face.
I was about to say, so then it has to be Goulden.
They're either one of Goulden or Warner.
Yeah. How old's Goulden?
The youngest of that group. He is 2020 draft, so he's 23. I reckon. Yeah,
it's Goulden then.
You not at all tempted to go Chad Warner?
Nah, not over Goulden.
Interesting.
No, I'd have him third in that the pecking order. I think Heaney's the best. Goulden's the second best. Warner is the third.
I actually wrote down Goulden first, but I also threw in Chad Warner. I think it's close. He's also younger.
Yep. They're a tough one where, for me at least, just because of how highly I rate Heaney, but I'd almost like break the age rule. If he was 27, I reckon I'd like break the rule. 29's maybe pushing it too much.
Yeah, fair. I reckon the last two will be incredibly easy. I reckon there's one standout young talent from these two clubs. The first one is West Coast. And you have to take one. You can't just say no thanks.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's easy. It's Harley Reid.
There's
nobody else I'm taking from that team. Not even.
I'd say the next best is Hewitt, but like I still think
you're not taking him over.
You wouldn't.
Yep.
And the Western Bulldogs, not a team devoid of young talent, but there was one guy who has been unbelievable this year.
Richards.
I was actually thinking...
Oh, Darcy. Yeah, of course. Jeez. It's funny because you wrote all of these down. I didn't write them down. I know. I was just relying on my memory to go to them.
It's tricky though.
No, you take Darcy.
It's tricky just to do this off the top. Like you always forget players.
Yeah.
Or, Lockie McNeil. But, I was late to the Sam Darcy party. Like I was in Perth. I was telling you this. And when the season started, I wasn't watching heaps of footy. And I remember watching the True Footy live stream when you guys were sitting here talking about Sam Darcy as the best player in the comp.
And you were like, what the hell?
I was like, I need to watch some football. And I have now watched a fair bit of Sam Darcy, and the hype is real. That goal he kicked against Adelaide where he kept the ball in front of him and then tapped it and then basketball bounced it and kicked a goal. I was like, wow. Clear choice here.
I feel like everybody does that with Sam Darcy. Like there's a moment where you haven't sat down and properly watched him and you're going like, he's a key forward. Like he can't be that, what's setting him apart from everybody else? And then you really sit down and like engage with it and watch it and you're like, okay, I've seen it now.
Unstoppable for a fourth year player.
Yeah. I would take, so I just said Richards because it was the best player that came to my mind.
Yeah, no.
Because you generally go to the midfield first, right?
Yeah, and he's 26.
Yeah, like coming into his prime. He's probably been this season like the best player in the competition. Ed Richards, just on form. But like Sam Darcy's different gravy. It's a different position. You're never going to find that. He's probably the most unique player in the competition, and that's why I said when we put him up against Dacos in an earlier discussion, I would take Darcy over Dacos just because of the uniqueness.
Yeah. Somebody did mention here, Joel and Con, both said Waterman over Harley.
Nah, no way.
Yeah.
Sorry. Like I know he had a really good season last year and he's a good player.
Yeah. But you don't pass up on Harley Reid. You don't.
It's too much talent. I don't think there's anybody else in that conversation.
No. I didn't think of anyone.
Only Hewitt, like you said.
Yeah, or Matt always. I can't help myself. Fraser was a good shout as well. He is a good player, eh? He's not better than Sam Darcy, but like
he's terrific.
They're not devoid of young talent, are they? The Bulldogs
so much,
and that's without Jamara, like their number one pick.
Yeah, it's funny because there's always like that discourse around like the Kane Corn stuff with Bevo, which I think is like really unfair. Personally, I think it's really unfair on Bevo because I rate their young talent really highly. But also, like, he always fails to mention that they're in this sort of transition period, bringing these guys in. Like, Richards has come into the midfield, Fraser's come into the midfield. Darcy's so young, as much as he's playing really well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's essentially it's been a big list transition away from like even like Libba's still playing good footy, but away from that sort of old midfield, which was what, like, if you go back a few years, it was Dunkley, McRae, Libba, Treloar and Bont sort of thing, and it's really evolved since then.
Mitch Wallace, that was quite a while ago now.
I feel like Bevo's sort of proven to the football world that with like different iterations of the team, he can make a successful team.
I totally agree. I do think, though, if they fail to make finals this year, it's fair enough to give them a whack. When you've got that many players that are maybe not like necessarily in their prime yet, but there's like how many we just said Richards and we said Darcy could be the best players in the competition right now, let alone all the other players. Totally. I think this year, fair enough to give them a whack if they fail to miss the finals. I think they'll be really flat with their performance against better teams this year. I've tipped them incorrectly so often. But I do agree broadly with your point that, Kane goes early or has gone particularly early on the Bulldogs over a period of time.
And I would have to stay consistent with myself here. Like, I'm pretty hard on Freo.
Yeah.
And they're another like young side.
Yes.
Sort of like transition in some sense. So like it's probably, I'm the same with both of those. I think it's been said in the last couple of weeks, but whichever team misses that doesn't make the finals out of those 9 teams, it's kind of like, it's a bit of a disaster.
Yeah. But you don't want to be in that position. I mean, 9th is like the worst place to finish on the ladder in any circumstance usually.
Who would you, at the moment, I know we had the ladder predictions video, who are you edging towards?
It's going to be the Bulldogs or Fremantle who miss out at this point.
I disagree. I don't think it's one, like, they're possibilities. No? I think Hawthorn could miss.
Well, they looked a little bit dicey in the first half today against Port Adelaide, but then they came good and won by 5 goals. So much of this comes down to fixture, which
I know.
we don't have in front of us.
I know. I did a ladder. The reason I say this is because I did a ladder predictor, and I'm like, they've got a pretty tough run in.
Okay, interesting. Okay, I didn't have that information to hand.
I would be interested to see what other people say in the comments, but yeah, I think it'll be. I feel the Gold Coast are well and truly safe now.
Yeah, now they've beaten Collingwood, I think it's past that point.
Yep, yeah, that was the one that they got. And I feel the GWS Giants are fairly safe.
Well, their last run of form, I saw the graphic come up today and I didn't realise all these games were in a row, but they beat the Brisbane Lions at the Gabba, they beat the Gold Coast Suns, flogged West Coast at Optus. I mean, who does that?
Exactly.
And whoever they beat last week, which is escaping off the top of my head, but they won last week as well.
And they've beaten good teams. Like they beat Collingwood, beat Brisbane.
Yeah.
They've sort of beaten all of that top group of teams. They did beat Collingwood, yeah. Which like even teams like Adelaide that are up there further have probably struggled to do. So I feel like I'd be so surprised if they were the team that missed out. I think
they seem to have found a groove now.
Yeah. I think it's one of Dogs. You're probably right. It's probably more likely to be Dogs or Freo. Mm-hmm. But I'd throw Hawthorn in.
Well, the Dogs and Freo, I think, play in the final round of the season. If it's not the final round, it might be the penultimate round, but that'll be in a ripping game. And if we have an opportunity to live stream it, I reckon, like, as much as we've done Fremantle games, I think that could be an absolute beauty.
Let's have a quick look here.
I'm not sure if it's the last game, though.
Jump in the comments, guys, if you and have your say on that. Western Bulldog. Yeah, you're right. It's the TBC, to be confirmed.
Yeah, so they'll put that on the last game of the year, last day of the year. Sure.
Currently 9th versus 8th.
Yeah.
But the Dogs in between that have a pretty nice run. So Essendon, that's they win that.
And then they've got Melbourne and West Coast after. But the Giants,
they'll beat Melbourne.
Is the Giants game at Ballarat?
No, it's at Marvel.
Interesting.
I think they'll lose that, but they'll win. They'll win the 3 of the next 4, which will like that game. I reckon they'll beat the Dockers at Marvel.
I do too. Yeah.
So I reckon they'll win 4 of their last 5.
Okay. Yeah.
Which will make them okay.
Yeah.
And then if I just quickly flick over to Hawthorn, try and do this as fast as I can. They've got Carlton, Adelaide, Collingwood, Melbourne, and Brisbane. So
maybe they win 3 of those.
I mean, you'd expect that they beat Carlton. It's not the easy game though, is it?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
You reckon?
Yeah, they'll kill them.
They'll kill them. Okay. Adelaide at Adelaide Oval.
Look, the margin might not be that big. They killed him there last year, didn't they? That's a very different Adelaide, though.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Adelaide lost them by 3 points in Tassie.
Yeah. No, I say they lose that one.
I think that's a loss.
Yeah.
Collingwood?
That one,
I mean, they could win.
When they were average, Hawthorn had a knack of playing well against Collingwood. And then this year, Collingwood
Smashed them.
So let's say loss.
Melbourne?
Win.
These sort of dead rubber team games, though, like some of them are going to get dropped. They always do. But I know it's hard to...
Maybe not like when we're looking at the last 5. Oh, you're right. Any one of them could be. But I wouldn't say that it's definitely one.
I suppose what I'm saying is they've got Carlton and Melbourne in that run home.
Yeah.
And it's not a Richmond, a West Coast, a North, or a Saints. You know what I mean? It's like it's a sort of the next bracket. But they should...
It's not even that's convincing me. It's the Brisbane, Collingwood and Adelaide away.
Yeah, well,
that is enough to convince me that maybe Hawthorn could miss. Like, they have to win one of those games.
They have to win one of those big games. So, they'll have to beat Adelaide, Collingwood, or Brisbane.
Which is possible in isolation.
Totally. It's totally possible.
In probabilities, you've kind of swung me around to thinking, geez.
And Freo, Collingwood, I think they lose that.
Yeah, it'd be big for them if they win. That will flip this whole thing on its head.
West Coast, weirdly trickier than it should be, but they'll
win, but hopefully we don't embarrass ourselves.
I feel like they're playing at Optus like every week.
Yeah, there is a lot of Optus.
Like they play Collingwood away, and then they've got you guys games, and Carlton.
Yeah.
They'll beat Carlton.
They'll beat Carlton.
See, my brain, when I see Port Adelaide at Adelaide Oval, I think banana skin for them.
I think it's banana skin. But let's be fair and say 50-50 at least. They should win.
Oh, yeah.
But
yeah, it's 50-50.
Yeah, that is a tough game. I don't think that's an automatic win there.
And then Brisbane at Optus, of course.
They could win that. They could win that.
Yeah, they could.
But I think the Dogs will be too good for them. I think if you find that when the Dogs and Fremantle play at Marvel, it tends to go badly for Fremantle. For some reason, that match up at that ground, I don't think they've had a win there for a while against the Dogs.
So who misses?
How many wins?
You need the ladder.
No, it's not. Well, Fremantle are 1 win ahead of the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
So that's worth saying. And
a spare game.
Okay.
So you're kind of expecting that Freo lose this week.
Yeah.
But if Freo, I agree with you, if Freo beat Collingwood, that's their ticket sealed, I feel.
Jeez. Hawthorn's percentage. Whoa. It actually could be Fremantle, because if Fremantle win one more game than Hawthorn, they're still behind on percentage than Hawthorn.
Yep. Yeah, the percentages.
Oh, it's a great finals race.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
I still don't have a clear answer for you. It's conceivable that Hawthorn miss the 8 considering their fixture.
I think what plays a big part in this is Sydney to Melbourne. Teams ranked 10th to 13th.
Yeah.
If they are up for it.
Yeah, how they show up.
How they show up. If they can do damage, they'll shape the 8 massively.
Yes. Yeah. No, you're right.
It's an interesting one.
Yeah.
It's getting pretty late though. What are we at? 11:42.
This is the latest we've ever done a stream.
Wrap this stream up. We've still crazily got 73.
Yeah, I think people have tuned in to see me cry, and we're just blatantly talking about something else. I will be back on the True Eagle channel sometime tomorrow to film my proper reaction.
Jess will be wrapping it. It was a tough night, though. It was a tough night for the Eagles. As a neutral, difficult to take too many positives from that game. It was. I think you went in. Maybe major favourites is too much, but I think you should have won the game.
I think it was 50-50, and when you have a rare opportunity to win, I would have loved to see us get a lot closer than we did. There are no positives from the game. The only way I'm going to cope with this is tell ourselves that in the big picture, it's just one bad night.
And Harley Reid got 27.
After a series of other bad nights.
There's been a lot of bad nights.
Yeah, it has. Yeah.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah, disappointing.
All right, guys, we will wrap this stream up for another episode of Footy from the Flat. Jesse will be back next week. We're thinking at this stage, the showdown.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
showdown for next week.
Let us know in the comments of various vids what you want, but I think it would be nice to mix up. And after tonight, I don't think the Derby is going to be a great contest, to be honest.
It's tough out there.
Yeah, it's tough out there. Let's do the showdown. Yeah.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in once again, and we'll see you in the next stream.
Oh, we're from Tigerland. The Fighting Fury, we're from Tigerland.
Rogue Riot end stream.